welcome back to another episode of the System Podcast. The boys and I sat down on the 3rd of October to film this one, and I'd be lying if this wasn't my favourite. It is quite controversial, and we exposed a number of key characters in this industry. Simmo got a very strong mention, and we basically exposed his shady marketing, the way he deletes tips on Instagram stories, and claims to be a super profitable punter, despite not actually having publicly accessible results. He wasn't the only tipsters that we mentioned. We actually mentioned a couple of new players in this game who are basically combining sex and gambling with OnlyFans in an attempt to suck in desperate Australian punters without actually having any public results. We are tracking the paid results as well as any free tips that are sent out by these services on our own spreadsheets, and we'll be releasing those to anyone who wants them. If you have any other service who you believe is not profitable and claims to be, please send us a DM and we will also track their results. We had to mention Brendan Fevola on this podcast as well with his new collaboration with BetNation, which is genuinely disgusting. Once again, Nathan Brown, Brendan Goddard, Georgie Parker, and Daisy Thomas got a mention, and we threw out a challenge to them. Finally, we spoke about how your betting accounts are an absolute goldmine and why every punter in Australia should be using theirs smarter and more efficiently, and why spring is genuinely Christmas for anyone who wants to learn how to use their betting accounts. All relevant links are in the description of both Spotify and YouTube. And once again, if you have any questions for us, feel free to leave a comment or contact us directly on any of our social media channels or through our website. We hope you guys get something out of this one.
Well, welcome back, lads. Second time at filming this podcast. We actually filmed this podcast last week, but JP forgot to basically make sure the cameras were working. So this is second time round. But yeah, welcome back to everyone. This is our 5th podcast that we have done now. It's been a couple of months since we've done our last one, but there's been a lot that has changed. A lot's happened. Obviously, we've launched a new website. That's really exciting. There's been a lot of time and effort that's got put into that website, and we think it's made, probably just a better experience all round for everyone involved. For all the members, for even the community, there's a lot of free content on there. You don't even need to sign up. You can just go through the website and you can get a lot of free education and hopefully improve your gambling in that sense there. But as well as that, obviously, it's spring has come around now. We're about a month into spring, so that's really exciting. We'll touch on, how valuable your accounts are at this point. But first, I suppose we could probably start off with talking just about a bit about match betting in general, and sort of just some stories about where we came from as a match betting, in the match betting industry, I suppose, and some sort of fun, interesting stories. But yeah, welcome guys. How we doing?
Welcome back.
Very
Second
good.
part 2 of fuck up last week. Basically, I'll put my hand up for that. Forgot to format 2 of the cameras, memory cards. So 86 minutes filmed and 10 minutes actually filmed.
Well, all of mine was filmed.
Yeah, but
The important part, but that's all good. Spring's
So
here as
good.
well. We're in the middle of spring, which is elite. Best time of the year by far.
Yes.
But as Steve alluded to, obviously, we're going to be talking about, where we came from match betting wise and some of the stories and things that led us to where we are now. And I obviously know a lot of these stories that JP has, but I think JP's might be the most entertaining by far. So do you want to give us maybe your best match betting experience or your best month on match betting or your best, period of time that you were a match better when you were doing it super heavily?
Yeah, so started my match betting journey in 2014, and then probably started to really hone in on it 2016 to 19, and then again sort of 19, 20, towards the back end of 19. But my best ever period was definitely the World Cup, 2018, literally fucking piss take. And you know about this time because you were getting the rewards while you were on holiday in Europe, I think.
Yep.
But in terms of the numbers from that, there was a promotion going with the early payout on soccer. So all World Cup matches, if your team led at halftime, no matter what the margin was or whatever happened at the end of the match, your halftime payout would happen on your win draw win market. So for example, you could have $500 on a $7 team playing against like fucking Germany or something who's a favorite. And if Mexico led at halftime, you would get paid out $3,500.
That was an actual game.
Yeah, that's right.
Amazing memory.
Correct.
Yeah.
1-0 Mexico won that match.
Yeah.
That was an early payout. And for example, like you're not gambling. It was obviously ways in which we teach you how to manipulate those promotions. But the key thing to understand was it wasn't capped. So you could put an unlimited amount on any team. And if they led at halftime, you get paid out. So I made only 20K. Now, I know that sounds dumb, but like people would have made 100K during that time.
Oh, well, if you had, like, basically if you had accounts and you had unlimited money, you could have made...
Well, there's no
If you could
cap.
just add zeros to your bets, like, it would have been a fucking fill-up.
And people listening to this are probably thinking, like, what a load of shit. That's bullshit, whatever. But, and this is what we say, like, match betting isn't like it is.
Yeah, it's probably hard
now.
to grasp because there's nothing that exists like that now.
A promotion like that now would have a max 200, and
Yeah,
that would be like maybe
250,
3 bookies. If you're lucky, I think like Blue Bet, Neds, and some other company do an early payout for the AFL, similar to that. But with soccer, it was just a lead. So, like, it wasn't a lead by 2, lead by 3 goals, lead by 20 points, lead by 30 points like Bet365 have. It was literally lead by a goal. And with soccer, all you need is 1 goal and you lead and you paid out. So
Were they not banning people at this point?
they
in
did.
time, or
They were, but it was very different. Yes, obviously we did get banned occasionally, and this is how we learned to get really good at sustainability, essentially making our own fuck-ups.
There was a few bookies that you could use, though, as well.
Yeah, there was Bet365, there was Sportsbet, there was Ladbrokes doing it. I think they were the main 3 during the World Cup. I used to sit back, like, I wake up at 1 a.m. There was 3 matches every night. I think 11 p.m., 1 or 2, and then 4.
Yeah.
I used to wake up at halftime on every match, or stay up for the first one and then go to bed, or stay up for the first 2 and then wake up for the third one. And I used to hedge my position according to what the result was at halftime. But Kiro, who was doing it as well, he had this thing where he'd do the first 2, and he said rest is best for the last one. And he literally left them all. And there were so many reversals on the last match where the halftime team would lead, and then he cleaned up 30K, and he did so much
Me and Bren
less
let
work.
most of them just go through.
Yeah,
to
you
the
were
keeper.
better off letting them go.
Yeah. Where possible, we would have, but yeah, as you said, I was in Europe at the time, and the games were like 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And like, especially by like the last game, like if you're in Europe, me and Mules would have had a few beers by then, and it was like, oh, I'm not going to turn my VPN on and crunch the numbers and put a fucking $3,000 cover bet on. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah, you have to ring up that time as well.
Yeah, just have a few more beers.
How much did you end up making between the two of you?
Me and Bren did it because Bren was here in Australia while I was over there, so it just made it a lot easier to kind of run like a dual operation. I basically fronted the capital, and I was like, just do this and this. We made like, I think like 14K each.
Yeah.
So as you were saying, like, you're like 20K is not much. We made close to 30 between the two of us, but yeah, Kiro probably made.
So Kiro's got 30, you've got 30 between the two, and I've got 20. That's 80K essentially between 3 people.
And it could have been like astronomically
4
more.
people, yeah.
Like it could have been so much more.
What'd you start with? What was your initial outlay that you began?
I couldn't even remember.
I had like capital.
I had a lot of capital. But I think only needed to start with like 10, and then like that just was enough to disperse through accounts, and then with results and stuff. Because the reality is, like, you're not losing hundreds of dollars if the game didn't come off. It was like
the ratio
60, it was like $60 or $70. But I even think like in the first 6 games, like 2 of them hit.
Yeah.
So our bankroll had already skyrocketed. I think it only hit like 9 games, but 2 of them were in like the first like 2 days. Like the first game hit when I was on the plane over. It was like Portugal versus Spain. I was flying Etihad and I was watching the game on the. Obviously, I didn't have like internet. But it was like 2-1 at half time, and Portugal were up, and they were not the favourites. I was like, "You fucking beauty!" Yeah. And then when Spain won, I was like, "You'll be okay."
Legit.
It was
a piss take. That month as well correlated to like the early payout in the NRL and the AFL going off as well. There was State of Origin, and I made 45K, I think, in about a 5-week period during that time.
Madness.
And it was fucked. And like you look back on that now, and it gives you the itch now to go back and do it, because obviously I don't do it anymore. I haven't done it for like a year now because just too big hustler and system.
I wish I started back then.
And this is what, like, it's just not the same anymore. Yes, you can make an absolute killing. Like, we had a guy message through our Discord this week. He's made 10K in the last month, and he said, I can't see myself going below 8K a month from now on. And it's like, it really depends how serious you want to take it. Obviously, that's outliers. We don't want to give the false impression of that's what's happening to every one of our customers. People are making 300 a month, 500 a month, whatever. But yeah.
But what Steve's just said then, like, you know, he's like, I wish I started earlier. That's still the case now. Like the promos, the specials and stuff that we have now, in 2 years, they won't be the same. They probably won't be as lucrative. So if you are thinking about doing it, or you're on the fence, or you're like, oh, you know, I don't have the offers that Tom and JP had 5-6 years ago. So what's the point now? The point is, like, first of all, you're not going to be losing. You're going to be making money. And second of all, the offers may be very different. They might even be more lucrative in the future. Who knows? But until you learn the skills, have the knowledge, and get a setup that works for you, you're literally just you're just wasting time, really.
Yeah. Well, it's shifted now to racing. The majority of the promotions are racing, and anyone kind of doing those sport promo-y methods and sending out that kind of early payout rubbish to like 200 plus people, and everyone betting on the same agency, just delete your accounts
Yeah, it's a
ASAP.
pretty quick way to get wiped
Like,
out.
and even just doing it on your own, like those promotions are fully for rookies. Like they're like on small bookies. People do dumb shit like taking the max stake on every time and then see you later. But you need to be making 90+% of your money these days on racing, because that's where you can hide more. You can, obviously there's more promotions and there's
Well, they're
more,
also harder to exploit. So unless you know what you're doing, like you
Yes,
can't just
exactly.
be a full-blown amateur mug
Spot on.
and get benefit out of the horse promos if you don't know what you're doing.
yeah, you either need
Whereas
to have
with like a
system
double
or-
payout or whatever, even if you don't even know how to do it properly,
Yeah.
you can back someone if they're leading at halftime. You
Correct.
get paid out and you think you're a genius. Like,
Yeah.
so that's the difference. I think my story, I know
Yeah,
we're still
what-
talking about
yeah.
stories, mine would be very similar to you. That was one of the most fun 6 weeks of my life, like going through Europe with that. Like essentially, like, yeah, we'd be having beers every afternoon, watching the game. We'd be like, Mulesy, like if this one hits, like dinner's on me or whatever. And he'd be fucking pissing himself. So that was a lot of fun. And then also, like, there was a period where I was working pretty closely with you through the AFL, NRL, where some of those weekends we had like monster fill-ups. And I just remember, like, I remember one game so clearly. It was like the Storm versus Warriors.
Oh, okay.
And I was still in this like position where I'm like, oh, I don't want to risk like $40 on games that aren't going to win. And you're like, bro, we're just doing it every game.
Yeah.
Like, just hammer it. You're like, just put this money.
No,
on
it was
this.
like $1.10.
Yeah, it was.
and-
Warriors were like $7. I'm like, what's the point of doing this game? Because man,
not
like,
going.
Storm are going to win by 40. At halftime, Warriors are up like 12-0.
I was at the gym and I hedged it at the gym and we made like, I think it was like 2 or 3K for the match.
I was
And
so funny.
before the match, he's like,
I was
don't
livid.
do it.
Yeah,
don't
I was
do
so
it.
shattered. I'm like,
Fuck it, that's a waste of like
you're
$40.
just giving away $40. That game's not
I'm
going to
like,
hit.
just relax, stick to the process.
Check
That's
my
it.
game. It was like the Friday night game. Check my phone halftime. I'm like,
But when
texting
those ones-
JP. He's like in the gym. I'm like, mate, they're on 12-0. He's like, don't worry,
Like, we
we're
need the
already out.
siren go. We need the
He's
siren.
like, we're out. I'm like, you.
When
fucking
those ones
idiot.
hit, they cash in.
And
You
Storm
get,
won.
like,
So Storm
what
ended
would
up
have
winning.
had, yeah, so you got the double.
But we
turnaround.
hedged
No, we
it.
already hedged, yeah. They were like $4 at halftime. Like, it was a perfect game to just take, just full take it all out, and move on. It was so funny. But yeah, that's just that period of time. Like, it's probably like a year and a half.
Yeah.
That was just amazing.
I
And
got
I was
a-
still working as well. So
I've got a pretty funny story about having a hedge. So when I started up, the halftime payout specials were still pretty lucrative. I'm not even sure if they are still now. I don't.
They're very minuscule. Like Ned's does like a couple of matches a weekend. They do like 200. Blue Bet
Yeah.
does a couple, but you
Yeah.
can get pretty much.
When I started, I
Yeah.
think you were still getting up to 250 stake basically across all the major bookies.
Correct.
So you could still, 250 at like 7 or 8 or something. You were still, there were some Friday nights I was making maybe $1,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So still pretty good. But one Sunday I remember I had it with Bet365 and I just started like dating this girl at the time. We were out to get burgers. And we were probably like maybe like 4 or 5 dates in, and I've checked the score at halftime, and sure enough, it's hit. And I'm like, I've just got to go outside and put a bet on. So I just I left the date, went outside, called up Bet365, full degenerate. She must have been thinking, I dated her for a little while, but she must have been thinking like, this is ridiculous.
This
Like,
is
what am I
fucked.
getting myself into? But like realistically, like
locking in profit.
it was actually like just like correct, like a really like
The
sensible
opposite
way.
of being a gambler.
Yeah, the opposite of being a degenerate. Yeah.
I've got a funny one. I used to be an osteopath, and we used to do the NBA promotion during the week, so early payout on the halftime, and that used to be pretty like high with PointsBet as well. And I remember it was someone I knew, like it was kind of on a friend level, but he was a patient that had become a friend rather than a friend being a patient. And halfway through one of the other sessions, I'm like rubbing his back or whatever, fixing up his, and I'm just like, he's face down, my phone's on the desk so I can see it, he can't. And I'm sorry, mate, I've got to go and hedge something out. And he knew what I did, like outside of osteo, and it was just funny, like guarantee like $500 and move on. Otherwise, you sit there hoping it wins, and it's like, nah.
The only other ridiculous one I can think of during that period is, remember when Sportsbet had that wheel?
Nah.
They just spun the wheel on Friday night and they would just pay out one team,
yeah.
whichever team.
Yeah, they did some dumb one once.
Whichever
like
team it
$10
landed
or
on, and it
something.
was like the most rigged wheel. Like, it wasn't even it was like a graphic. Like, it was so dumb. And they'd just be like, whatever, up to like $500, whatever the wheel lands on. If you put your bet on this team before 5 p.m. Friday, they spin the wheel 5:30 Friday, and if it lands on that team, they pay you out.
It's pretty genius marketing.
Oh, of course it
Because
is.
fucking everyone's going to take a bet and
Yeah,
hope they get
everyone's
the
just
fucking
loading
wheel.
it up. Yeah.
Fucking idiots. That's so good.
That was
brilliant.
that was very funny. But that's
I remember one of the classics was one of the big ones was the Chase the Ace, the Oz Open Chase the Ace one. I think that was William Hill or something.
Before
like
we
I lost
both
my.
worked
That's
at
where
the
I lost
tennis.
my virginity.
that.
Before we worked at the tennis.
I didn't follow
As a
it.
statistician.
Yeah, just yeah.
No,
definitely
I didn't touch
follow,
it. No, I didn't touch it until
Yeah, yeah.
like there was 2 days. I think I started working there. Fuck, I can't even remember now. Better not say the wrong date. But
That was with William Hill.
yeah,
it
no,
was
that
William
was
Hill, yeah.
that was a piss take. You just back like roundage to and then hedge him, and he serves
Yeah.
fucking 40 aces, and you make 40.
I
bucks.
but it
I
was
got
one of-
onto that like real. That was I lost my virginity
Yeah.
to like match betting for that one, and that was back when it was $1 cash.
Yeah, it was
Like
full on
full-blown withdrawable
$40.
cash.
Yeah,
One of them there was one year.
yeah, that's
where,
Bet-Easy's wheel.
Yeah,
was it Bet-Easy's
but,
wheel?
But they
Yeah.
but that's when they turned it to bonus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. But
But,
still,
yeah.
you could get like $10
Yeah, 10x.
bonus.
I got a
Yeah,
10x
yeah.
on Isna, and he
On
served
Isna.
34 bombs. 340 bonus.
250
That's a
bucks.
piss.
But I was also like cashing in massively then as well because no one else knew about it. No one else had William Hills, so I was like,
Yeah. Oh, you was cashing.
let's every
Say less, yeah.
every player, every ace,
Well,
Every player, every
Well,
count them up.
I remember one Wimbledon actually. I stayed up every match. There was a promotion on if the as soon as your team or player wins the first set, you get paid out or
Yeah.
something like that. So I'd sit there and because I watch tennis a lot, I could kind of see the match and I'm pretty good at understanding tennis. And you could see like massive fluctuations when you get the early payout and then you hedge it. And I think I took home like it wasn't as worth it as World Cup. It was probably like 8 or 9K for that, but
Yeah.
it all adds up, and that's how like we kind of made a living during those periods. But
Yeah.
I'm sure people are sick of hearing about our stories
Yeah.
and want to move on from that. So, what is it now? Spring. I'm sure everyone listening to this will be aware that it's spring. All the fucking text coming through your phone, advertising galore. But what that means for people who have betting accounts, or even if you don't, is that it's a genuine piss take this time of year because there's more promotions, there's more specials, there's more offers, more personalized offers, but there's also more people punting. So you can also hide behind these kind of mug punters. And with everyone, obviously, as we know, 99% of people are losing. There's still an absolute massive amount of money you can take home. And I guess, what do we want to kind of say about how to get involved? If you have losing accounts as well, if you're someone who can control your discipline.
Well, obviously they've
time.
they've just heard us talk about how much money we've made through our accounts and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Whatever, like tooting our own horns, but. The reality is, as you said, there's money to be made
Hundreds,
everywhere,
thousands.
especially like at this time of the year. If you know what you're doing and you've got accounts set up in the right way, it's genuinely a gold mine. Obviously, there are things that you have to avoid, and you touched on it. Like if you don't know what you're doing or you're doing things like subpar or suboptimal, you are going to get wiped out. You get restricted, banned. Bookies have never been hotter on it, but yeah, maybe Steve could dive into a little bit. Like what's an account worth? What's one of the big dogs worth? Sportsbet, PointsBet, Tab.
Yeah.
Neds, lads, what are they worth to punters?
Yeah, stacks. People just need to understand how valuable their accounts are. I remember I did a video on TikTok probably 18 months ago, basically asking people like, would you sell your Sportsbet account for $1,000? And everyone thought that I was buying Sportsbet accounts for $1,000. No, that's not the point I was making. The point is that your Sportsbet account is worth a lot of money. I would buy it for $1,000 in a theoretical world. I would buy it for $1,000 because we know how valuable they are and how much you can make. Like if you've got an account, and this really depends on sort of a few variables depending on sort of the account history. If the account history is typically run by a gambler who's a bit of a degenerate, puts stupid multis on, is typically losing over the long term, that account is going to be extremely valuable because what the bookies do is they grade you. They grade you as basically a customer, a number on their books, and they grade you as someone who's either a threat to them or someone who's potentially a cash cow to them. And if you're a threat, obviously that's where they identify you and they say, see you later. But if you're a cash cow, then you're someone that they're going to target and they're going to come after you with massive promotions, deposit offers, bonus bet returns back to $250 in some instances. I don't know if it goes higher.
Yeah, it goes higher. Yeah,
it goes higher.
Yeah,
It's probably endless, really, depending on how big of a gambler you are.
Spectrum. So
yeah,
there's a video that was trending on TikTok. A lot of people sent it to me. I think you've seen it.
Yeah.
Someone put it in our chats regarding an ex supervisor of a bookie, morphed voice, whatever. Covered up, and he was just talking about how essentially they just hone in on the big losers, and that would bring back. I think there's a stat on it. I don't know the exact stat, but the majority of the profits are made by those full-on degenerates off these bookies. So people will be losing like 200, 300k a year. Those are where all their max revenue, like majority of their revenues coming from. Yes, people losing $1,000 here or there for the year, they add up, but these big ones are the ones where all their revenue comes from. And he was talking about like how they full-on it's just numbers for the bookies. All they want is revenue. So they will do all types of different shit. And if they know someone is a full-on fucking gambling like full on out of control, they'll just literally give him everything because they know it's just going to result in more revenue for them. So
yeah, well, look at it.
Yeah.
You just got to look at it from Sportsbet's point of view or any corporate bookmaker's point of view. Like their goal as the CEO or the board of those companies, their goal is to literally make money for the shareholders.
make the maximum.
Max profit.
literally.
That is their single goal. It is single. They don't have any like
No.
environmental goals or
No.
social goals or moral
Morals,
goals or they're not being good blokes by offering their business. Their business is purely to identify how to make max profit. So if you're someone who's come, so tailing back to where we started, if you're someone who's come in with an account that, is basically you've been ticked off as a cash cow, you've been ticked off as this like person that's making them max profit, they're going to come at you with massive promos. And so if you can then, we've had a couple of people and there's a couple of people, particularly in Hussla, that have come through as well.
Yeah.
They come in with these losing accounts and those accounts would be worth, you could easily make $20,000, I reckon, with that one account in a year. And,
Easily,
and you've probably got, I reckon, I don't know, you're probably better at commenting on this, but you've probably got a good couple of years, providing your defense and sustainability stays up to speed as well. You've got a good couple of years where you could fly completely under the radar.
Yeah, so I think he's our most profitable. I messaged him today because I knew we were going to be talking about this, and he's at $140,000 profit. He has 20 accounts. They're all his, and he's lost 2 accounts in the entire time he's been a member, and it was January 1, 2021 he joined, so nearly 2 years, about 21 months or whatever, and $140,000, 2 accounts banned out of 20. And they were shit-house fucking elite bet and Texbet, who we're going to speak about Texbet. We've taken them off our promo list. We've just heard so much shit about Texbet. I think you can scratch your ass and get banned there, or look at them the wrong way, or pick your nose and they'll ban you. So,
there was one of our followers who literally didn't place a promo bet.
Banned.
Yeah, banned.
So we took them off our promo list. There's rumours about them getting kind of bought out or whatever. I don't think the name of the thing that's buying them out, but we'll readdress that or reassess that and discuss that in the future. But yeah, in terms of your accounts being valuable, especially if you're someone, we don't like to encourage like massive losing out of control gamblers to ever come near our service. Correct. Because we're very strong on that. Like Tom runs the DMs on both Insta and both Hussla and the system. And if anyone comes there like that, who's like out of control or shows signs, and a lot of people say, oh, you're not psychologists, you're not. But when you talk to people all the time, it's very obvious who's who. When you're talking to like hundreds of people a week, you can tell who's going to be like kind of serious and from what they say. And if anyone comes there with like that, then pretty much we just tell them to...
To be honest, a lot of people that reach out that are problem gamblers, like admit it. Like they're like, I've seen your videos, I've seen the shit you're talking about, and like I don't tell people this, but like, I'm losing, 2-3 grand a week, or I've lost, I'm an apprentice. One of the guys, like, I'm an apprentice, I've lost every cent that I've earned, and I owe my parents like 10 grand. I'm 19 and live at home. And it's like, and so they're reaching out to us because they're like, fuck, like, what do I do? And we're not sitting here going, just follow our service, man. Give us $100 a month, and of course we're not psychologists, and you spoke about it last week, and I know the podcast got cut off, but the thing that I think is very easy for us to be able to speak to these people is because we didn't just wake up, one day and start betting and going, fuck it, let's just be match bettors. Like we used to lose punting. We used to gamble. Yeah, we can relate. We understand what it feels like to lose, $100 and want to get it back straight away. Or we understand like backing a favorite, a sure thing, a thing that can't lose. I know that one of my favorite stories that you've told me is back when you were younger. One of like the only bets that you remember is when you put $1,000 on St Kilda.
The other way around, Freo, I think.
Oh, so if
and
someone,
twice. That's when I had a moment.
Someone like $1.18 to beat St Kilda or whatever, like
$8,
a full blown certainty.
Yeah.
And you did this.
Yeah, when I was like 20, that's when I literally discovered match betting. I was like, fuck this, I'm not betting anymore. And I'm very good at being able to just turn shit off.
Yeah.
So like,
what were you thinking?
No, it was on my 21st birthday. I remember I put $1,000 on Freo or something, and I think Ross Lyon rested players or vice versa for St Kilda. I can't remember. Anyway, they lost, and I didn't even know back then. I could have hedged it halfway through the week. He changed all these players. I probably could have hedged out of the position and lost like 150. And just cashed out, but I didn't know that back then. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I discovered how to use a bonus, and then fucking why would you gamble anymore? But
so to have those conversations with people, or like even with subs that come across and like, man, like I had a great week with you guys, but I punted all my bonuses or whatever, and it's like, dude, trust me, like I totally understand that. I've been in the same position as you. I've been in the position where I've been punting or been at the races, and I've been like $500-600 up, and I think I'm playing with free money, and this is why when people watch our videos and they go, fuck, these guys are talking about exactly how I'm feeling or thinking, and it's because, bro, we've done that. Like we've been in that exact position. Like we've punted, and we know what it's like to win big and to feel like you're on top of the world, like you're on a hot streak, and also to feel like the world's against you, and
Unlucky,
like I can't, so unlucky. Like, geez, this guy, like, I remember sending you a few years ago a multi, like, I can't believe this guy hit the post from the top of the goal square. Like, I'm fucking cursed. I'm fucking rigged. And it's like, mate, like, looking back on it now, I'm like, you're an idiot, Tom. But in the moment, and JP was probably like, yeah, mate, like, that's
we're
so
all,
fucking
we're all the
stiff.
same. Like, and it's like, you have this, it's definitely Dunning-Kruger. Like, you're at the peak of man stupid. You think you know more than you do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're not unlucky for putting a 15-leg multi on that loses by 1 leg. Like, the probability was against you from day one.
You were lucky to hit 14 legs.
Correct. That's how you
so
should be
lucky.
looking at it.
Yeah.
And that brings us, I want to kind of, obviously we've touched on losing accounts, whatever. If you've got losing accounts, if you want to learn how to use them, fucking DM us, whatever. But
Before you move on,
yeah,
we've put a dollar value on the value of an account, Sportsbet, PointsBet, particularly the major corporate bookies, from someone who's coming from a losing gambler. If you're a brand new gambler, 18, 9, doesn't matter your age, you've never opened the account, no history on the account. Obviously, it is a lot different. You're not going to expect to make 20 grand, in your first year off that account alone. It is possible over the life of the account to make that much, but you're probably looking, at a much more sort of realistic value of about, probably 5 grand off the account in your first year.
Yeah, completely different ball game. And this is where it's massive, where like your setup is literally going to determine whether you make 1,000 or 500 or 200 or fucking 20 grand, literally per account. Because like if you don't nail that.
Yeah, what do you mean by your setup?
So this is where this is our area of expertise at both Hussla and the system, is literally if you don't nail, like for example, bookies are going to profile you at the start of your account. You open up an account and you start betting on there, they're going to know straight up pretty much if you're like stereotype punter, if you're someone who goes and chucks multis on that are going to lose, or you're someone who's pretty much taking a deposit offer, withdrawing the money and fucking off. Like that's the ends of the spectrum, right? Or you're a full-on degenerate who goes and puts 500 on a massive multi and loses.
To highlight how much they profile people, and something that really does surprise people when I tell them this is that if you're a girl and you sign up to an account, they're automatically a lot more suspicious
of course.
about you.
They'll even try and call you. So a lot of people, not so much in our service, but obviously a lot of people from other match betting or whatever, they'll go and try and use their missus account and they're done within like a week, especially smaller companies. Like I know certain companies like Texbet, I've heard a lot of stories about that happening there, and even like BetDeluxe and stuff, and BetNation obviously. But the reality is if you do things properly, and this is why people get, I think, so triggered by the fact that potentially we charge $1,100 for a defense and sustainability course as well as all the other stuff. At the end of the day, if you've got your accounts open, you can keep making money. And you touched on this and you said, believe it or not, match betting or making money off the bookies is the easiest part.
So easy.
It is so easy. Like you can just go and do, like I could show you how to make $1,000 in an hour, like just signing up to all these bookies. But what's the point of that? Like if you want to make $1,000 and lose your account to do it, but if you want to make 50 grand over 3 years, do it the other way and the slow way. It's tortoise and the hare. So every bookie's different. And then when you've got a community of people that are learning off each other and explaining and smashing ideas, okay, Texbet did this, BetDeluxe did this, Sportsbet did this on my account. Like then all of a sudden you understand these bookies and how they operate. Yes, we're not inside the companies, but these anecdotal kind of understanding of everything helps you to then build you're essentially trying to build a house, doing it the other way. Like you're just going rogue and just turning over bonuses, doing the minimum to turnover, withdrawing it, smashing promotions, maxing stakes, fucking doing all dumb shit that obviously rookies do. Yeah. Thinking that they've clocked it, and then they're done within 3 months. You're building a house without a foundation, and it's just going to look good for like 2 months, and then it's going to fall down. Versus building foundation and going up, and then passing the guy and being alive in 3 years. Yeah. So it's your call what you want to do, but totally different ball game when you're new account versus an existing one.
But it's still, it's still very profitable, and particularly this time of the year, purely because there's just so many more promos that are being offered. So you can simply just blend in easier, hit more promos, and make more money essentially.
So obviously, we were talking about how to set up your accounts, why setting them up is important, and the alternative is like if you're going to open up an account, the alternative to that is that you're going to be gambling, right? If you're opening up an account and you're not doing it for match betting purposes, you're going to be gambling, and the alternative to match betting is gambling, and we all know that 99.5% of gamblers lose, and that's kind of a mindset thing that we try to like drill into people when they come across, right? Obviously, we want them to make money at both of our companies, but we also want them to change the way they think about punting. And I think JP's got a pretty good story about somebody that came into our community that was a massive, massive gambler and has changed his mindset completely. And maybe you can touch on that, how that's all worked and what's happened.
I'm still pretty like shocked by this one because of how suddenly the change was. Like he only joined, I think it was like start of August. So we're looking at almost 2 months now, I think a month and a half in. And he, on his first night that he subbed, he was talking to us on Instagram a lot before. He subbed to the system for a month. And he was like a massive gambler coming into it. And then he sent us his bet slip on a Friday night, like before his first day of tipping. And it was like $1,100 fucking 10-leg multi. And we're like, well, this guy needs to be told, like, he needs to get his head right before
he knew, though. He knew
yeah,
it was
and
like...
it was, we all like, because we obviously discuss shit in the chat. Like, we send each other, discuss things between the company. Okay, this guy needs to get addressed, whatever. So we send him personal voice recordings and whatever. But once we told him, like, bro, you need to delete that, he like literally just stopped. And fast forward now 5 weeks, 6 weeks in, he's made like 2.5K, and it's like talking to a different person now. And I don't understand that. Yes, we've seen this happen to many people over the time, and even people who aren't even subscribers are messaging us on Instagram saying, hey, the shit you talk about, I'm doing. Like, you fucking hit me. Like, I don't want to hear it, but it's true. But I've never seen someone just go click like that bad to there. Because he was putting like, he sent me all these screenshots, like 3K on $1.07 to make like fuck all money, $200 or whatever. 9K he lost one day on like tennis multis. And then now he's messaging me back like last week, and I'm actually getting him to make a testimonial video for us. And he was saying he actually gets excited now at like winning fucking $20. And I can't understand that, because what happens as humans as we get and see more money as we grow up, become desensitized to money, right? If you were earning $500 as a teenager, that's fucking, you're literally making millions, right? When you get to like 30, $500 is nothing. So I've never seen someone go from getting like fully not sensitized to like putting 9K on something to then get excited. Like, it's like reverse sensitization. Yeah. So kudos to him, well done. But I just thought it was awesome. Like, it's really good to hear that.
I think for like a lot of people, what they don't realize is that, you know, maybe if they look at our results, or even they look at any other person's results, I see someone win 100, 300, 500 services, right? Made a couple units here or there. For them, they might not think it's a lot of money, but like when you consider that you stop losing the money that you're losing on the punt, which maybe for this guy, because we get a lot of DMs, and as you said, I do a lot of the DMs, and a lot of people are like, fuck, man, I listen to your podcast, or, you know, I've seen your results, I'm so sick of losing. And when you guys talk about multis or talk about that mindset, that's exactly how I think and feel. And it's like, yeah, bro, like we know, we've been there. And also, once you stop losing, it's so nice. Like, you lose the stress, you lose the anxiety, you get so much more time back. You're not checking the results of all these games that you have multis on. You're not, you know, betting on tennis overnight, waking up praying. And when you stop losing, if you're losing $50, $100 a week, even if you can afford to lose it, right? If you stop losing that, there's your fucking, you know, there's your $5,000 a year that you were losing. Well, that you've now made, that you've got access to.
Yeah, and it becomes a double whammy, which you speak about the graphs going in opposite direction. But I reckon that's underrated, talking about the stress and the kind of anxiety around fucking gambling. Because, like, you then have to hide it from your missus. You then have to hide it from your mum or your dad. You don't want to talk about it with your mates. You feel like you hold it in, and it just builds up.
Or you're like, you're punting all day Saturday, you lose a bit too much, so you're not going to go and have beers with your mates Saturday night because you don't have enough money.
Yeah, well, there used to be an ATM, fucking the pokey ad with the guys carrying an ATM around, a pokey machine around with him, or an ATM, and it's just like you're carrying that with you, your social life, and then it impacts your decisions.
Yeah, or you're sitting at the pub, like it's Saturday night, you've lost a fair bit on the punt, you're sitting at the pub Saturday night and you're watching the footy games, like all your mates are sitting there having a laugh, having a beer, and you're like intently watching the footy game because you've got a same gamer on that you need to hit because you've lost so much money today.
Or you've tried to triple your money to try and get
like
back
imagine
your
if you
losses.
just imagine you could just remove that and you hadn't lost that money.
Yeah, well, you don't have to imagine it. Just like obviously start making the steps towards doing that, and there's a number of ways to do that. You don't have to subscribe to us, but simply like just keeping accountability like on yourself. And
tracking your bets.
Yeah, like firstly tracking your bets, but even dumbing it down even simpler to this. I said this last week. Like, make yourself a challenge, right? Delegate an amount that you know you can afford to lose for your punting, whether that be a weekly amount or whether that be an amount that you're not going to touch for 2, 3, 4 months, whatever. Divide that by 100 and only bet that amount every time you make a bet. So let's say you want to delegate $500 for the next 3 months punting, or for the next month, let's say, it'd be a bit more, and divide that by 100, it's $5. Put $5 only on those bets.
Any bet you place.
You have to lose 100 bets to obviously
To go
lose
to
all
zero.
that money.
Yeah.
And if you do that dumb, like if you do 100 bets in a weekend, obviously you're going to lose your 500. But most people are not going to place 500 bets in a weekend.
No, but
100
see the
bets.
thing is
100 bets.
it doesn't matter. Even if people did place 500 bets over the weekend, they're going to win. You know,
Some.
probability wise, like
unless
obviously
they're all,
we don't.
Three or
unless they're
four,
all
maybe.
5,000.
Well,
Depends,
like
depends on the odds of what they're
Depends,
doing.
yeah, assuming they're just like punting on the horses, like, you know, not doing stupid multis
Yeah,
and stuff
they're
like
most
that.
likely not going to lose 500.
But they're not going to lose 500, so they're going to get a return. And
Yes.
so that sensibly, like that's literally that's the benefit of doing it. And I really like that point that you made, is that, you know, pick that unit size, because what people do at the moment is they will go, I've got $100 to punt this weekend, right? And they'll go and put $30 on the first race, and then they'll put $40 on the next race, and then they'll put $30 on the next race, and then they've lost their 100. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
if you're finding yourself like blowing
Race three.
blowing your betting capital by race 3, or just blowing your betting capital at all ever, then you have incorrect structure. You should never ever. That is the whole purpose of why we delegate 1 to 2% of your unit size based on your capital, because in that way, based off our service, obviously every service is different, you should never theoretically ever blow your betting capital.
No.
You should never bottom
You
out.
shouldn't even come close to that, because
Yeah.
this is literally what the bookies don't want you to hear, because they know, anyone betting knows that you're not losing because you're a shit. Like anyone can flip coins and tip 50-50, right? That literally 50-50 result. Obviously the bookies have a little edge. You hit 50-50, you're going to lose long term, most likely, depending on what odds you're doing. But if you're not losing because of that, you're losing because your first bet is 30, it wins, and it's a $5 pop. You got 150 now plus your 70 left over. You got 220. Your next bet is 100.
Yeah.
Which is three and a bit times your first bet.
It's emotion.
So now it's like
destroys you.
Literally, like you're betting based on how you feel and based on what the result of the last bet is. You may as well just put it in the bin.
Yeah.
Whereas, okay, I'm going to bet $5. I have $500. I'm going to bet $5, no more, no less, every time.
It's the emotion that just destroys everybody, because like even if you go in like, I've got $100 to lose this week. Like Steve said, if you hit the winner on the first one, or you put 30% of your bankroll on your first bet and it wins, happy days. But no one's sitting there going, all right, you know, my 100's gone. Like no one even as like the most sensible punter, I think I'm quite conservative. And even if I used to do that, and if I had hit my first bet like that, I would instantly take the $100 that I put into the account out of the account. So at the end of the day, at least I knew that I didn't lose any money, right? And this is the mindset some punters will have. But what you need to consider is all that money that's in your betting account now is all yours.
Still your money.
You have the ability to go like this, put it in your bank account and walk away.
Yeah.
So when you think you're playing with free money, or you're on a hot streak, or, you know, this money, it doesn't matter because it wasn't there at the start of the day, you need to change that, because you have an ability in that point in time to be like, you know what? I now have 220. I started with 100. I'm taking all the 220 because it's mine, putting it in my bank account.
This is something that people seriously disagree on. It's like,
I 100%. I've had arguments with my mates about this.
I've had arguments with people
fucked.
too, and it's so infuriating. Like, people cannot change their timeline of like they put money in at this point, and it's not their money until it is taken out. It's like there's the start, they input their $100. The end point is the end point when they remove the money, and it's only at those points on outside or before the start and after the end people think that it's your money. It is your money all the way through the process, and it doesn't matter if you put in $100 and then you win $150. Now you've got $250. You take out $100. It doesn't mean that $150 isn't your money because it's still sitting in your betting account.
Yeah,
it's still your money.
Yeah, you won it.
It's
Like,
yours.
Yeah.
It's literally
The bookie
under your
gave it to
name.
you.
The bookie has given it to you. If you were in a tab, like in a venue, and you went and cashed the ticket, you would have got $250 on a bet slip piece of paper. You would have then gone to the cash register, gone, can I have this $250? Turned it into cash, and then you would have gone, oh, $150, like, this is my money.
Yeah, and
people seriously disagree. Even in financial terms, like investing, crypto,
like
people are the same.
Non-selling losses and not taking a loss, whatever, because it's not a loss till you sell it. But it's all the same principle. But I think the online aspect of this and the digitalness of money desensitized,
Massively.
not desensitized, but respects money, I guess, because it's
It's
just a
numbers
number
on
on
a
a
screen.
screen.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
The other thing with emotion is like when it plays on the way that you're betting, like if you have a win, whatever, the other way that it plays on it, and I see this all the time and I fucking hate it. Like I always bite my tongue, but I wish I couldn't, and I wish I would just always comment on it. When I see people say that they're due or tell somebody else that they're due, like,
You need
like,
to take a lead. I reckon you need to start.
I don't want to
rinsing
like
more
attack people, but like the reality is, what are you due for?
Yeah.
Like you don't have an edge. You don't know how you're picking them. You have no structure. You have no set bankroll. What are you due for? Just because you've lost 10 in a row, you're going to lose 50 in a row. The bookie makes, $5, $6, $7 billion a year. And that's because every single person that places the next bet, everyone thinks they're due.
Yeah.
And you know what? The only person that's due is the bookie. And
they're not due. They just win.
Up. Yeah. So like thinking that you're due, again, if you're somebody that's sitting there betting and you're like, fuck me, I haven't, even if you're only losing what you can lose and you just keep doing it every week, just because you keep doing it, it does not mean you're any closer to a winner. If you don't know what you're doing, you're just giving away your money. It's why the bookies make billions of dollars a year. It's why the bookies encourage you to punt, to put on multis. It's why they show you all these fucking ads. They're not doing that because you're due.
I fucking hate it. Like, you sent me a screenshot. I'm not even going to say what it was on Saturday night because it's going to make people... Like, it's that elite marketing that even if I was to say how stupid it is, people will go and do it. And it's the multi that fucking... The $1 million thing that you sent through. And it's just like people seeing the hope or the potential of that being them automatically just sells it for them. Like,
it's the hope.
And then, like, there's a guy on Twitter who we all know we've spoken about many times before, and a lot of people think we've got it in for him. But the reality is we're not attacking him, but it's been like 5 months now since he's had a collect. And everyone's in the comments saying, today's the day.
Today's the
Yeah,
day.
good
Today
luck.
for what?
Thank you for posting it.
Yeah, anything's good. I like it's thank you.
What do you like today?
You must be a good bloke because you're posting it. And Steve, what's the thing about the mechanic? Like, would you go fucking...
Well, this is one that is frustrating, is that this guy gets a lot of positive feedback for being a good bloke. Everyone thinks that he's helping them out by offering... What's he offering?
Nothing.
He's picking...
Random tips, mate.
He might know something about horses, but, based off, what we've seen and based off his history, he just looks like another average guy who just built up a bit of a following. He's not a good bloke by offering tips to people that in an unstructured manner with no accountability, with no responsibility for what he is doing there. This is what it does irritate me. I saw another post a couple of weeks ago where a guy was in one of those big Facebook groups and he was like 50,000 members in it.
The woke guy.
Hey?
The woke guy.
The woke guy, yeah. He was revolutionary. He was going to change the way the betting groups are going to work on Facebook. And all of a sudden, he was saying this post like, oh, what I want everyone in here to do is start putting out winning tips. We're going to bring back winning tips, and I don't want people charging people for it. They're going to be free tips, and we're just going to look out for each other because we're going to be a good bloke. And first, I just want to break it down. Like, in this guy's post, the definition of a good bloke is we want everyone here to start winning together, right? That's what he means by let's be a good bloke.
Yeah, he's got good intentions.
He's got good intentions. He's like, I want everyone here to start winning. And if we look at the definition of the good bloke equals we want people to start winning, then offering unstructured tips with no responsibility, no accountability.
It's the absolute opposite of being a good bloke.
It's the opposite.
And this is like my second ever viral TikTok was rinsing the bet with mates and not even knowing what I was doing. I don't even know how to use TikTok, but I pretty much just said, what makes you think that if you get 9 other losing punters out of your mates, you're going to start winning? Like, you're just going to lose more.
Yeah.
And Sportsbet and Dabble and all those companies have literally...
It's so smart.
They've literally nailed the social aspect, which obviously encourages... The guy wrote a linked article about
in that article, it actually said that like
the stereotype.
males together are more likely to take risk.
Of
so
course.
if we're all in a group together and you're like, oh, come on, let's put another 50 in. I don't want to look like the soft cock or the pussy for not putting another 50 in.
It's fucking genius.
Oh, yeah, we'll all put another 50 in. It doesn't matter. And like, it's such a great way for them to just keep making money out of you. Sick of punting on your own, or it's a bit, degenerate activity to sit at home and punt on your own. At least I'll be social. We'll all put 50 bucks in and we'll all put a multi on together.
And if you're not part of it, you're like, you're
get
the
FOMO,
serious kind of
you're
like...
a loser. Yeah. You're not fun at parties.
Yeah, exactly.
It's peer pressure. It's literally like toxic peer pressure.
Yeah, and then when you say that to people, they just fucking rinse you because like they think it's...
But where's the logic in this guy, you give me a free tip and it loses? Like, where is the logic in that you're being a good bloke? Like, I don't understand the logic there.
Because I tried to make you win, man.
Yeah, because
But you didn't.
Yeah, but hang on. What if you paid me $30 and I said I'll make you money over like 12 months?
Yeah, but no one would do that.
Why?
Oh, you're a shit bloke, man. Because I have to give you money.
But I'm going to make you money, and if I don't, I'll refund you.
You're a shit bloke.
Well,
like that's
where we're at.
Yeah,
because
I don't understand that.
It's a combination of like ego. It's a combination of wanting to do it yourself. It's a combination of getting this idea that you think you know more than you do. It's everything, like, and then you combine that with the social aspect of it, and it's fucked. Tell us the story. You mentioned it about the chick on the train because that was fucked.
Yeah, so this is
This shows where we're at.
this shows where we're at. Like one thing, that you mentioned a lot was, emotion. Emotion is what, really hurts us and really impacts gamblers. But something that I think, particularly with the newer generation, the younger generation, I actually just don't think they know they don't even know what betting is, essentially. I don't actually think they realise what they're doing, what it actually all means, what needs to happen for them to win. As silly as this sounds, I think there's definitely missing something there, and there's something that's lacking in potentially education. I don't know. That's another topic. But anyway, I was on the train the other day going to the footy. A couple of girls, they wouldn't have been much older than 18, sitting on the train talking about their multi. And I was just like, oh God, like I wanted to like chirp up and be like, do you actually know what you're doing here? Like this, you're not going to win doing this. Like this is silly, give him a sub, whatever. But it's like this girl, I decided not to, but this girl, she's just talking. She's like, I've got my multi on. It's got 14 legs. Is that enough? And it's just like, it's frustrating. It's like, it really shows why all of a sudden is it all about, you can't just put a bet on. Now you got to put a bet on with 14 legs. And it's almost like if you don't put, a certain number of legs, then it's not cool enough. That's not deemed acceptable form of betting. What is it?
Well, that shows where we're at in terms of knowledge and Dunning-Kruger competence versus confidence. Confidence being how much you know, and people just don't know how to bet or what to bet, or that is just being ingrained through the marketing to fully legitimately hypnotize punters. And they just do what is like, oh my God, fucking multis.
Well, after our multis podcast, we got so much feedback around, holy fuck, like I'd never actually thought about it when I put a 5-leg multi on, I need to get 5 winners.
Yeah.
And like when we said in the podcast, like how often do you back 5 winners in a row? And most people will be like, oh, fucking never, hardly ever. It's like, well, that should be the light bulb moment. That's what a multi is. Like if you're putting 10 legs on, you need to back 10 winners in a row to get a collect.
And if you get to
so
the
if you
ninth
back
leg,
9 winners and you don't get the 10th one, you've just got 9 winners for no collect.
Yeah, and you get to the 9th one and there's a 10th leg to come. You've got your whole the return divided by the last leg on that last fucking.
And that's the part that other people didn't understand. They're like, oh, I've got $5 on it. I'm only losing $5. And it's like, bro, if you get 4 or 5 legs deep into a 5 or 6 leg multi, you've got all the accumulated winnings on that last leg. Yeah. And in your right mind, if that was cash in your account, there's no chance you're going to put all that on the last leg. And that's what Steve's alluding to. These people that are putting 14 leg multis on, they don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, deal or no deal, we got absolutely hammered. Well, you did. You made a video about the cash out of a multi that you found, I think Carlton to make the finals.
Yeah, there was like the cash out value was $350, the payout was $900 or something, and they needed, I can't remember what the final leg was. It was a bit more, but then they compared that to deal or no deal being 100,000, 200,000.
And everyone in the comments, like the principle of what you were talking about is legitimately exactly the same, but you were just copping fucking, oh no, bro, it's not the same. It's not life changing and all this. And it's like, you have literally just been fully like conned and brainwashed, literally. Yeah. And this is where we're at. Like, and people don't even know they've been brainwashed because everyone's doing it.
But like, you know what's funny is that was a classic comment, the life-changing comment. It's like, well, I wouldn't cash out a multi where I could get 400 and if I could potentially win 900, but I would cash out $100,000 when I could potentially get $200,000 because $100,000 is life-changing. 400 isn't life-changing, may as well let it ride. That was. I reckon there'd be 80% of people would have that exact same.
Probably more.
Possibly. But what's life-changing? You give $450. Like this is going to sound really silly. You give $450 to a 1-year-old. That's life-changing for a 1-year-old. $100,000 isn't life-changing. You're simply just getting caught up with the feeling of the money. Like we talk about this. You attach a feeling to money, and it's like money. This certain amount of money is going to make you react a different way. You're going to behave a different way depending on the amount of it. You should treat every single dollar the same. It doesn't matter if it's $1,000 or $100,000. And then that's when you start getting emotionless. That's when you start betting with structure in a controlled environment where you're not going to let any result, any value of money impact your behavior afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, $1,000, for example, if that guy could win $1,000 if his multi wins, but you can take $350 now and you don't have to worry about it. Like, how much do you factor in the stress, the anxiety before the game, watching the whole game? Yeah. And if it loses, you're going to be... First of all, if it loses, you're going to be shattered. And second of all, most people, after it loses, they'll think that they were that close, so they'll go again. Yeah. And it's like if $1,000 you would have taken it, but you wouldn't have taken $350. If you take $350 3 times, you've got more than $1,000. And there's no gambling required. There's no luck. There's no relying on a certain outcome. And this is, yeah, as you said, like it's just value of money. $100 is $100. $1,000 is $100. It's just 10 times. Like all you got to do is keep accumulating. And this is what we say to like subscribers or people that start match betting. All you have to do is it's a compounding effect. You just start accumulating your profit. It's the same as going to the gym. You're not going to get a six pack or, you can't bench press 100 kilos the first time you go to the gym. You're only going to be able to bench press 40 or 50. Sure, that's not life changing. You're not a big Hulk Hogan, whatever. But if you roll into the gym for a year and do that, then you're going to be able to bench press 100 kilos. Then you are the guy that's benching 100 and you look like a king. Yeah. But, that guy didn't get there overnight. And it's the same with these punters or these match bettors that make $100, $200, $300, $400, $1,000, $2,000 every week. It doesn't start like that. You have to learn the skills. You have to learn the discipline. And you have to just keep showing up.
Realistically, think about it. It's like if you're obviously we all basically live off this industry now. Obviously I've got a separate job as well, but you two particularly basically live off this industry. So it's borderline. You could say that it's been somewhat life changing to some degree for both of you. I'd say it has. Like it's changed your life.
Mate, my life has been betting for fucking nearly 10 years.
Yeah, spot on. So, think about it. Like realistically, if your life is going to change from betting, from beating the bookies, from being a professional analyst, whatever it may be, whatever it is within the field, how do you think you're going to get there? You got one of two options. One, you're going to win a massive life-changing payout in one hit.
Yeah.
Or are you going to slowly grind over time like any other career you are ever going to succeed at? You're never going to launch into any career and be on top of the mountain from day one. So what makes you think you're going to do it within the gambling?
Yeah, you're not going to be...
I think the easiest way, and I actually thought about how I could put this in an example, right? And let's just use tattslotto as the example, because to hit a huge multi, like a life-changing multi, it's exactly probably the same probability of you winning tattslotto, right? Yeah. So who's going to be better off? Like if you think logically over the next 30 years, if I spent $20 every single week buying a tattslotto ticket versus you who puts $20 into a savings account every week, in 30 years, who do you think's going to have more money just in that scenario?
Well, obviously the savings.
So, but how many people do you think watching this, or how many gamblers do you think, well, that guy has 30 years at a chance of winning tattslotto? How many people do you think that?
Like would actually believe that they
well,
would
most
have a
people
better
will
chance.
think that. And the reality is the person putting $20 away is always going to be better off. That's the mindset of people
I think
that
$20
are placing...
is probably like even if you said 100, then people would be more likely to see that the savings is a bit more because it's more. But they need to understand that it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's the same amount, whether you put $1 in your savings or $1 in the tattslotto or $1,000 in the tattslotto.
Yeah, but the theory more is like, someone might put a $20 multi on every week to try and win 100K.
Exactly. But what you need to understand is only one person or two people will win tattslotto.
And that's what they'll sell. They'll sell that idea.
Yeah, but you're not going to be that person.
No, of course not.
And when you see old mate win $600,000 on Twitter, 999,999 out of the million didn't win that multi.
But even following that, right? So yeah, correct. No one else won that multi. And okay, so now you're following him. You've been following him for 4 months. There hasn't been a collect anywhere near that. There's probably been 2 collects that were profit and the rest are, So when do you go, okay, holy fuck, maybe this guy maybe that was a complete fluke. Like at what, do you have to go broke? Do you at what?
No, but he's still due.
He's due.
No, but honestly, like that's the mindset, and that he's betting the way he bets because he won that bet.
Yeah,
if you win
He
tattslotto,
fully believes that is the way to win.
correct, because he won. And if I win tattslotto tomorrow, would you start following me?
No.
No, because I fucking put my ticket in and I won, and I'm fucking 1 in a million.
We've talked about this in a past podcast.
Numbers.
People do though. Like
but fuck, like wake up, man. You're not plus
Yeah,
600,000.
Steve's right. Like when someone wins tattslotto, everyone goes to where they want
correct.
tattslotto.
But that's
closer.
another thing. That's fucking gambler's fallacy, right?
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with tattslotto. Is even different to gambling because like it's as in betting for like on horses and whatever.
Yeah.
But this guy is betting because he knows he's massively up.
Yeah.
He would have lost. I'm not going to say, but we've been tracking and it's at least 10,
But
20, 30, 50K.
You don't even need to speculate. Like we just know,
No.
the bookies know, the maths
The way
suggests that if you bet like that and you've been betting like that for 30 years, even if you win 500 grand, you're probably at break even at best.
and how you see that, and the bookies haven't banned him. They're giving him fucking bonuses.
Yeah,
So
like-
explain that. Like if you've got a punter that's taken 600K off a bookie, why would you give him a bonus if he's a profitable punter?
So this is the thing as well. Like the environment that we're in now, influencers have a massive... They have a massive pull on people, right? There are people that will know who these guys are. And I used to not want to be able to want to name him, but I'm going to name him. Like everybody that punts or is on TikTok or whatever, they're going to know who this Simmo bloke is, right? If they're on Instagram, they're going to know who Simmo is. And we have nothing personally against Simmo. Don't really know him as a human being, but there are people that follow him or think he's a god because, and other people the people that do this in like crypto markets and shit as well, they post this lavish lifestyle, right? You know, I'm out here sinking piss. I've got a massive house. I've got all this money. I've got all these cars, posting all these winning bet slips. You know, life's good, right? And this is what sucks in so many people that are losing on the punt. And they're like, fuck, if I just bet like this guy, if I just hit this bet slip that he did, you know, I'll start making money. And this is feeding into why people just keep losing. It's these guys that are posting bet slips that have no idea what they're doing, that are just feeding off people that are losing punters.
And you got to remember, generally these people, some people it's more obvious than others, but probably more likely than not, they're getting an income or a revenue somewhere, whether they're selling their own tips or they're getting paid advertisement or they've got affiliates or they're selling a course. Somewhere within their sort of value chain, they're making money.
Well, that's fine if they're profitable.
If they're profitable.
We do the same thing. We're making a living off selling a service or a course.
Yeah.
But the fucking thing has tracked results and it wins. And if it doesn't, you get refunded.
Yeah.
And but we're also not like, you know, well, we're in suits today just to get a bit more legitimacy.
Yeah, like we're now legitimate, like fully.
But like we're not rolling around like posting bet slips going, fucking look at this, lads, you know, another winner.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, if you're marketing like that, it's very clear and
but
obvious
that's what works.
You're
That's
doing.
unfortunately that is what works.
And if you want to con people, post slips and green ticks. There's a guy on TikTok called Punters Hub who's had to create his second account because he basically has been posting like his bet slips and he's hit one or two, but he's lost massive and they get deleted. But he's putting AMG videos up. Obviously he's made money or has money in other ways, and then it's not hard to work out what bets win and what don't. But going back to Simmo, unfortunately, I'm just going to full on just tell it as it is here. He deletes everything on his socials, every slip, and this is what he hides behind. So he'll put up a slip on his story, a tip, which hasn't won yet. It will have 1 leg out of 2, whatever. Remember, this is how you have to think, right? He wouldn't be putting up bets that don't win. Okay?
Of course not.
So don't just see that. Think about the whole picture here. So why would you post something that lost immediately? If the first leg out of 3 loses, you're not posting it. So assume there's more losses there. You then see the one that's 1 out of 2 legs. He put one up the other week, fucking horse one, and then it's got Brisbane to win the premiership. It's like, it's a fucking year away. And it's got Year of the Lion 2023. It's like, and all these people are commenting like, yeah, chockies and all this. Mate, shut the fuck up. Like, you're getting conned by someone who has no fucking idea what he's doing. There is no public results. And today I commented on a thing and I said, hey, you have public results? He goes, yeah, in the member section. Simmo, we've got a member in our community that's a member there. And the results said 2021 AFL, 100 units profit.
That's it.
That's it. No tips,
no
spreadsheet, 100 units. Exactly 100.
Well, exactly 100. That's hard to do.
2022 results, TBA. They're coming. And recently he launched a finals package. He had to refund the people who asked for the refund. He didn't
Where
profit.
are the results for that?
No results. Anyone who asked got refunded, but only those who asked. And that brings me to the next problem. And that wasn't a go at Simmo. It's a go at anyone who doesn't have public results. If you want to run a service, if you want to be an influencer, post your fucking results.
Look, all right. It's a go at them as well, but it's also wake up to the people who buy from these people.
Exactly.
Hold them accountable and ensure that they are doing what they should do to earn your money. Because otherwise, you're literally just giving money to another Joe Blow who's got no bloody idea.
Yeah.
Look, we're not the best horse analysts in the world. We never claim to be. We never claim to be smarter than anyone. Blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
But we do everything by the book. Everything's legitimate. Everything's transparent. Everything's honest. You know exactly what you're going to get. We like to think. If you don't think, give us some feedback.
You can watch our fucking results as we input them before the race ends. And if you delete it, all the subs can see it. We've got 5,000 tips in 2 years.
Yeah. But so just ask yourself, all right, is this actually a legitimate
just have results.
Yeah,
and if it doesn't have results, it's most likely not a profitable service.
Yeah.
So we've actually got someone tracking his results, and the spreadsheet is disgusting. Like, we're actually tracking not only the paid tipping results, but we're tracking the ones on the story that get deleted. There was a horse on Sandown. He had a multi to win 900. I've made a video out of it. I'm going to show people how to actually... what he should have done. He was supposed to hedge. He could have guaranteed himself like $300 or $400, $500, whatever. I can't remember what the thing was. I'll post that. But then that gets deleted. The video, what was the horse? that lost?
He did like 2 at Sandown. He was like,
It was
he,
before
Zaki.
he did one, yeah, he did
And then
Zaki,
pinstriped.
lost, and then he's like, all right, lads, everything you've got on pinstripe, lost,
Lost.
deleted, and then didn't say anything else, and then posted another story after the last at Sandown won $1.50. He's like, you beauty boys, but like, how could anyone
Yeah.
bet on that if they'd already loaded up on
Correct.
Zaki, lost, put everything they had on pinstripe, lost, and now he's hit $1.50 winner. Like,
It's just, I don't care if, like, I've spoken to Simmo on the phone for 2.5 hours, and I don't know him personally, but he unfortunately wants to make money off tipping, and good on him if he's making people money. We make a living off tipping, but we only do that because we win. And if you're not doing it, and you know you're losing, and you're pretending that you're winning, then unfortunately you have to be held accountable. And I just want to get out here and protect people from that rubbish. And he's not the only one. There's a fucking chick on Insta or TikTok, Twitter, sorry, who started. She's an ex-jockey who's posting their tits basically. And
Is that the OnlyFans one?
yeah, there's a couple of, there's called Tips and Tits, and it's all this random, like combining like sex and the male brain with gambling, and it's just like genius marketing.
just basically trying to exploit.
Yeah,
It's clear
just
as day,
people who
isn't
are
it?
silly and want to get involved with that kind of thing, but just have public results. And if you do, and you know they have public results, check them. And if they don't, then fucking don't subscribe because you're going to lose.
The other thing that you say, like, you know, when you're watching something, think about it. The other clear one is like, you know, when you're watching, and we spoke about this, the Brownlow, right? And Nathan Brown pops up and goes, oh, you know, Queen's birthday, Clayton Oliver got the medal, had a blinder, he's $1.90 for best on, like, geez, looks like value here. This is, you know, something I'd be backing. And then the next round, Clayton Oliver doesn't get 3. Like, if somebody's working for the bookies, right, just please logically think about this. If they are working for the bookies and they're giving you a multi, or they're telling you the best bet of the round, or this guy's going to get 3 votes, do you think that guy that gets paid by the bookies wants you to win? And anybody that says yes, unfortunately, you have rocks in your head. And if you say no, then why the fuck are you betting on what they're telling you to bet on? Why would you not do the complete opposite to what they tell you?
Because it's Nathan Brown.
Yeah, he nearly won. He would have won a Brownlow if he didn't do his leg.
Yeah, best player for 12 weeks, whenever it was. But they're not getting some like professional math nerd who's got all the statistics to go.
Who goes, don't put them all down.
Nah.
Yeah, they're not getting someone who is an expert in that field.
It's funny you say that. I was watching the racing on the weekend. Obviously, we tip every weekend, and I had it on channel, I think 78, which I never normally do. And old mate Daisy has become a horse fucking analyst.
Yeah.
Daisy Thomas.
Analysing the market.
He's telling everyone what to bet on because the money in the background with all the computer screens.
Cleaned
all
up
these
Carlton,
fucking,
now he's cleaning up the bookies.
literally
apparently.
like telling people what they should bet on based on the market. And it's like... Like PointsBet have really stepped up their game in their ads. I've seen they're copying Sportsbet. They're putting all this funny content out on Facebook and stuff. Good on them.
Ladbrokes are trying to do the same as well.
Yeah, and
PointsBet
obviously...
got the inspired unemployed. You know those like TikTok
and
dudes?
Shaq.
Yeah. And don't worry, they'll be getting their whack as well. Don't worry. Like, we'll take them all.
Yeah, they should.
But no, I got a question to stop rinsing people and kind of provide some perspective. Would you or have you ever considered becoming a bookie?
Yeah.
Start with Steve.
Yeah. We get asked this, don't we? This it really depends. I guess you can have it from sort of multiple different perspectives. And yeah, I'll answer one. I'll let Tom answer from the other perspective. But it depends what your motives are, I suppose. If you've got a motive of just, you know, looking to get through life and make, you know, whatever it takes, hashtag whatever it takes, like, make as much profit as possible, just only worry about the triple bottom line, don't worry about anything else, and become a bookie. Bookie is an absolute cash cow because there's that many losing, degenerate gamblers out there, you know, with all different, you know, emotional problems or inability that they're chasing losses, or they're escaping something, or they're bored or whatever. There's so many people, and obviously we come across these people a lot. And unfortunately, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people are completely unaware about. You know, so many people who, particularly I talk to, you know, friends, family, whatever. Obviously, we're very passionate about, you know, the damage that the bookies do to people. And that's because we see it. We see it firsthand, the effect that people, you know, gambling has. You look at Fevola. He was a classic example who's now become, you know, an influencer, which is another story. But you know, we get bet slips all the time. That Johnny Drogan guy you were talking about. We had a guy on Instagram recently who lost a stack. Like, we see the effect that this has on people, and you know who's profiting off this? The bookies. Their triple bottom line would be just phenomenal. And I think I did read somewhere like Sportsbet. I can't remember exactly, but I do remember is they spent the marketing budget across corporate bookmakers last year was $390 million or something like that. $390 million just for their marketing team. If you just like extrapolate that out and imagine how much therefore revenue and profit they're making, if they're spending $400 million on just marketing, that is absurd. So yes, I would 100% become a bookie. However, like obviously this isn't my opinion. This isn't my belief. I would never become a bookie. I'm playing devil's advocate. But, you know, if you're here to make money, then well, it's a fair industry, particularly the way it's trending at the moment. I think it's doubled since the last decade or something like that.
What about you, Tom?
Well, it's like, we get the comment a lot, like you guys are no better than the bookies. Like you're just preying on vulnerable gamblers. Now, the first part is wrong. The second part is correct. Preying on vulnerable degenerates is exactly what the bookies do. And would we, like as Steve said, would I like to have the bottom line of the bookies? Would I like to make $5 billion a year? Sure, I would love to. But how are they making that money? And the reality is they're making that money off people, right?
Yeah.
When we make money, the way that our communities make money and our companies make money is we make people money. And if they make money, we make money. Everybody is making money. That's how it's built. That's what the community is built on. We want everybody to make money. We're not here just to make revenue, right? We're not here chasing, 1,000 signups. We could make our subscription fucking $5 a week and we could get 5,000 people in at no time at all, right? And that would make us more money, but we're not interested in that. We want to get people in our community that want to learn, that want to make money and want to change like the way that they think about punting. So that's what we do here. But the bookies, the only way the bookies make money, and this is what you have to think, the only way the bookies make money is they take money off punters and put it in their pocket. We take money from punters and they make money. And if we don't make money, we refund people. And we did have to refund fucking 28 people
24,
a month ago because we had a losing 30-day period, right? So we put our money where our mouth is. We're here to make you money and we're here to make our community money. And if we don't, we refund people. That's how it works. The bookie purely makes money from you.
Purely a zero-sum game.
So if everybody stopped gambling, the bookie would make no money. But because everybody's gambling and everybody's losing, that's why the bookie makes so much money. And that's why we're completely different. If we don't make people money, we don't make money. And we are invested and passionate. You can hear Steve speak the way you guys speak. We're passionate about changing the way you think about punting and helping you understand that what you're doing is wrong. And this is how you can make money doing what we do. And we collect a small fee off that because we spend hours and hours doing, voice recording, speaking to people on the phone, making sure that everything is set up correctly so that when you join, you know exactly what's required from you. You go through the 2.5 hours worth of videos. You get personalized voice message if you've got any questions. And you're set up to make a consistent profit month on month. And that's why we're very different to the bookies. And would I like to make $5 billion a year? Sure. But would I like to make it in a setting where I know that every single dollar that I make is because somebody else has lost it? No, that isn't for me.
And I mean... This is the other thing, affiliates as well. They're like kind of a bookie without having the risk. So they're not like copying bets from other people. They're just essentially, I'll sign up Steve, and if Steve loses 5K this year, I get 25% of it, of his losses. And there are people out there that literally make a living off this. And these are the kind of guys, maybe not like your Nathan Browns and that, but they're like full-on influencers that'll have like a link in their bio.
And we could easily do this.
Yeah, and this is the thing like I want to talk about probably like 3 years ago when we started Hussla. Me and Kiro like started understanding what affiliation was, and we were kind of, bro, look how much money we can make. Like this is fucked. And then I just took a step back, and we both said, like, look, man, like, do we really want to go down that path? And we're like, straight away, no. And we're talking to an affiliate in Brisbane who has essentially lived off this, and he's probably made a couple of $100,000 in the last maybe year, maybe more.
And the rest,
Yeah, and it's just like the ethics and the morals. For me personally, like I could genuinely make probably $1 million a year being an affiliate, but would I sleep at night? No. And would I feel shit about myself? Yes.
Well, that's because you know that if you are that, like every dollar that you made is because somebody's lost it.
Yeah.
So whereas we're making money because other people are making money and we're helping them not lose money, and it's just a better way to go about it.
I think that comes from us seeing both sides. Like we see, obviously people win. We see people lose because we're copping DMs. But that's what I'd love to think, and I want to believe this, that people like Nathan Brown, people like Daisy Thomas, who's getting up there with Nathan Brown now as probably the worst, Georgie Parker. Fev's not so much as bad as them, but obviously with his history makes it way worse.
Okay.
In terms of what he's doing, he's not telling you to bet on fucking
he's not
shit. That's Sportsbet.
Like these
Sportsbet have scripted. Brendan Goddard. The top four, Brendan Goddard, Nathan Brown, Georgie Parker, Daisy Thomas. There may be some other ones like Mixed Multi and those kind of guys. Like Billy Brownless, I think, has one as well. Like I would love to know if they actually know what goes on. And I'd love to sit down with them for like a table, have a coffee with them, and just say, look, do you want to see this DM that we got from a punter the other day? Like,
do you reckon their multis are their multis?
No,
or do you reckon Sportsbet's just written a script for them?
No way. That's that. Like when the ones like maybe mixed multi, they're piss take, like ones on Triple M. I haven't seen those, but I think they're probably theirs.
But they're full piss take.
Yeah, exactly. But when Nathan Brown comes on and says, "Oh, the fucking value's here because old mates kicked 2 goals last week," and Sportsbet's already fucking deflated the odds by 50% because they know people are going to bet on it based off last week. He literally is just relaying information. Same with Daisy. He's not going to fucking read the market.
No. So, but they must know then.
No, they don't. I want to believe that they don't know how much people are losing, like in the naivety of how it ruins their lives. But then, if you're working for them, you have to know.
I think they. I don't know. Yeah.
That's why the Fev thing pisses me off because it ruined it actually fully ruined his life.
Yeah.
Like he apparently went down the path of trying to sell his Coleman and shit, or did sell it, then got it back eventually.
Mate, he had to go to a jungle. He released it all in the jungle.
Yeah.
He said how it ruined his life,
so it fully ruined his life. So he knows he lived that, and not only has he done that, he's now gone and got, oh, look, I'm rehabilitated. Yeah. Like I now know how to punt for fun, and I want everybody to be
go read BetNation's responsible gambling thing and read that fucking piece of shit article, whatever he's written.
This is what's the worst. This is why I really hate Fev's story. Firstly, because it did ruin his life and now he's encouraging it. But the way that they're marketing it from BetNation's point of view, it's almost like they're trying
from the ashes.
It's like, it is. It's a rise from the ashes, and they're like almost trying to play this like we're the sensible bookie. It's like, look, if you're a degenerate gambler who's had problems, no, come with us because we've got Fevola, who's the face of change. He's changed. He's like, no, look at me. I lost all my money. It ruined my life, but I've been able to rediscover my love and the fun of gambling without letting it continue to ruin my life.
Do you reckon if he was addicted to meth?
Yeah.
No, seriously. Do you reckon if he was addicted to meth and then came back and was like, started promoting, he's like, now I know how to do meth, once a month with my mates. It's really fun and social. Do you reckon that would get looked upon the same way?
Absolutely not.
That's what makes me sick. Or if he was like a full-blown alcoholic, ruined his life, and he came out and started promoting VB, and he's like, I used to be a full-on alcoholic, ruined my life, lost my marriage, lost all my money, but now I can sip a beer once a month with my mates and it's fun. He would get ridiculed. It's because people don't look at gambling the same way as these other things.
They should. People don't see gambling as in the same ballpark as drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. It's the exact same.
No, that's
identical.
I've said it before. Like, would you have the same thing if I stood outside a rehab center and just like baited people with like cheap heroin after they come out? You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh no, man! Personal decision. They should.
They can make their own call. Like it's all up to you. You can make your own decision.
So this is what I think the influencers possibly think is that they think, all right, these guys are going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
Why am I not allowed to cash in?
Well, yeah, that's what
they're going to lose anyway. They're going to
He used to say that. I'm just going to provide a community for people who would have lost anyway. Yeah. I'm going to give them like prizes and shit. That's like giving them some value back.
That's full sheep mentality.
Like, fuck me, mate. Like, you're only making money if they lose, and the more they lose, you make more. So
So of course you want to build those communities.
Yeah. And I promise you, like, we could be making millions as affiliates, and that's not like it's so easy to do it. Like, all you need to do is call up Ladbrokes and tell them you got a fucking big following and you're fine. Like,
going to move on to a little bit. One thing that we've touched on it a lot. But not specifically. People in Australia are so ingrained to accept that losing is normal, right? And this article retouched on it again. People expect to go to the pub on a Saturday and they expect, if I'm going to punt, I've basically cashed in this $100 loss already. They know that's almost the expense of punting, right? So this has just built this culture within Australia where losing is completely normal, and it's not even it's just accepted. It's almost like, you lost $100, you were gambling.
It's not even accepted, it's expected.
It's expected. That was the word I meant to say, sorry.
Yeah.
It's you're going to you're going to lose $100.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
right.
and then that is literally the culture in Australia.
But that's fun, man.
It's fun.
Badge of honor.
Fun. It's a badge of honor.
You wear it, it's about like how much
if you don't bet, you know.
It actually is, isn't it? Yeah. People will almost like somewhat brag about how much they lost. Like they'll tell it with a bit of a smirk on their face. Like, but like deep down, that's pretty fucked. So this is what I actually do like with like our community, and I think something that why people think that we are what we have got here is a scam.
Yeah.
Because people actually have never ever experienced the feeling of losing, and people think like
winning. You mean
winning? Sorry,
winning.
Yeah. So people are so used to like having a punt, going to the races, going to the tab, whatever it is, and losing. And they do have fun.
Yeah.
But they've had fun and they've lost their $100 and they don't know any other way. I guarantee you it is so much more fun going and punting and winning. But when we say this to people, like people will comment like, well, I'm punting for fun. Like, well, you can punt for fun and win. People will be like, well, they actually can't relate to that. They actually don't know what punting and winning feels like because they just have never won. And they can never even, like, they can't fathom the idea of winning.
It comes back to that theory that you found this week regarding the salesman of the car telling you, what's it called? The anchor bias.
It was the anchor bias,
Yeah, explain that.
So this anchor bias, basically it's a cognitive bias, and it says that, you grasp onto the first piece of information that you hear about a given topic. And when you really rely on it, it's almost like, I guess this is why we pick up a lot of our parents and everything. It's almost like it's a fact. Whatever you hear early on, that's what you're going to believe as the absolute truth until, you really get convinced otherwise with, research, stats, whatever it may be. And the example that this video used was, imagine you went to a car salesman, he was offering a car and he said, this car's $20,000. And you go, no worries. So automatically you've just anchored $20,000 as that value of that car. You can't be told or you can be told otherwise, but that's always going to be your reference point. The next week later, you go to the same car salesman and he goes, this car's $30,000. You're like, what the hell are you talking about, mate? You just said it was $20,000. You're ripping me off here.
Yeah.
Automatically, that's your reference point. That is the bias that you're going to put. That car might actually be worth $40,000, but because he told you it was 20, now he's telling you it's 30. You feel like you're getting ripped off. On the counter to that, if he comes in, or week 2 you go in and he says it's $10,000, you're thinking, you ripper, I'm getting an absolute steal here. The car might actually be worth $5,000. You've got no idea, but you've just held onto this bias that you've told from that first bit of information that you've been told, sort of thing. Yeah. And this applies here. We just expect to lose. We get told from day one, you are going to lose on the punt. The casino always wins. The house always wins. The bookies always win.
You can't beat the bookies.
You can't beat them. So then, naturally, people just automatically assume, well, you're either not winning or you're a scam or whatever it may be.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, so when people charge you $99.95 for a finals package and they lose and there's no public results, firstly, the person doesn't even want the public results because they just expect to lose. And it's only $20. Yeah. So it's only $20. That guy was helping me out. He lost, doesn't matter, because they expected to lose and they don't even know what public results are. So it's a combination of obviously just having no awareness about what the fucking world is in terms of you can win. And if you're not winning, that's wrong. And you should be getting a refund and chasing that up.
So obviously we were touching on, influencers and what people see on social media. And obviously we get a fair bit of, we'll call it feedback through TikTok, Instagram. A lot of the time it's like, you blokes are a scam. If you blokes were making all this money, you'd fucking be doing it on your own. Why are you wearing a beanie? Why are you sitting on your grandma's couch? Why don't you drive a fucking Mercedes? So obviously, as a bit of a piss take today for some of our greatest fans, we thought we'd wear, some nicer clothes so that we look a little bit more legitimate. Take that one out of their arsenal, I guess. But the thing that I wanted to touch on while we're talking about that is, obviously Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, it can get pretty toxic sometimes. And what are people getting out of those comments? What are people getting out of, telling JP's head looks like a swollen balloon, or
we'll actually broke every bone in my face, so you feel bad now, but I couldn't give a fuck what you call me, honestly.
But
call me whatever.
What's the point of that?
Okay, it's a combination of a couple of things. My personal opinion, whether it's right, I don't know. I think a lot of people writing those comments are probably having a bad day, or they hate their lives at that point, or this isn't their lives are terrible, but everyone goes through periods where they're having shit time, and it may make them feel better to I don't know,
try and drag someone else.
Tell someone they look like their head fucking, what's wrong with your face, or your teeth are wrong, or
But do you reckon they're saying that do they genuinely want you to be upset?
Of
what
course.
is the point of it?
Okay, so it's complex. So that projected hate is normally on people who it's tall poppy syndrome. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Now this may sound arrogant to people because of what the true definition of tall poppy syndrome is that people that rise above the pack, we are above normal gamblers in terms of we're winning, right? And people look at us and be like, they're winning, so they're fuck them.
Oh, it's that on top.
But we're not better than anyone else. Let's just clarify that. But then they come back to us and they say, fuck these guys. I'm kind of jealous that I'm losing and they're winning, or people following them are winning. Plus they're making a living out of it. Maybe they wanted to do what we want to do. And then they're like, fuck them. I'm going to just hate on them because I want to make them feel like shit because I don't want them to be successful because I hate what I'm doing. And I can relate to this because I never used to hate on people online, but when I used to do osteo, I was dissatisfied with my own life. And I used to get a little bit frustrated when I saw someone who was posting about how much they love osteo or how much they love their job. And I'm like, fuck, I want that. I never went down the pathway of like, oh, hey, you're a fucking piece of shit, I'm going to message him. But that made me feel shit seeing someone else succeed when I hated the position I was in. So I can relate. So my question or my challenge to these people is go internal and ask yourself why you're actually writing that. Like, would you publicly put your name to that comment? Would you show your family that comment? And maybe think about like, yeah, cool, we're fine. We're never going to hurt ourselves from that. But what if you did that to someone who actually went and hurt themselves? Would you actually feel good about that?
But you reckon if someone said it to like, if someone said it to their parents or their missus or one of their best mates, someone started having a go at them, surely they'd get defensive and be like, oh, you
Of
fucking
course.
idiot, why are you doing that? So like, why? I don't,
But,
I
and
just
like,
don't understand it.
They probably want us to be like reactive to it. And we do react to it, but we don't react to it in a way that they probably expect.
Yeah, they probably get more frustrated. It's just free
And
marketing,
we're never
really.
going to buy into like saying, oh, fuck that guy, I'm going to go bash him. We had a guy message us on Instagram threatening to belt us when he was out or whatever, if we're out in Melbourne on a fake account. Like, at the end of the day, like, I have genuine sympathy, and I know the boys, we actually discussed this in our private chats. It's like, we feel sorry for people doing that because of like it's so dumb. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, if it's because you're feeling flat or shit or you've lost on the punt, message us. Like,
Yeah,
we
we'll
wanna
help you
fucking
out.
help you. Get in our
Literally.
get in our community and start making profit. Like,
We've had haters that have become like our
Full-blown
longest
haters.
term subscribers, like who just genuinely thought, fuck, these guys are a scam. And it's obviously beyond that now. We've been doing it for 22 months. You can't really hide for that
400
long.
paid subs, yeah.
Like,
But some people hate on us as well because some people think we're a scam and they want to sort of try and get the message out there because they think they're saving people. But some people hate on us and they know what we do works. They actually are full believers. They've actually either been a sub or they know that, what we do is possible. Delsky being one of them. There's a few of them. They know that what we do works, and this is where I think a bit of jealousy comes in.
that's where the jealousy comes in.
Where they're like, well, I actually know the information, or, they don't have a full information, but they know the
They think they know,
foundational. They think they do, actually. That's a good point. They think they know everything required to do what we do, and so they're just pissed off that they aren't doing it. It's like, yeah.
Well, go and do it.
Literally. Go and do it.
I challenge anyone to go and make a company and do it.
No, but this is why we offer these people 3 months as well. It's like, bro, I don't care if you hate me. Like, we actually fucking want to make you money.
That's
like,
the thing. We're on we're on your side.
Yeah, we're all trying to make money off the bookie. Like, when you're punting on a Saturday,
Mm.
you're trying to make money off the bookie. We are doing it. We know that the way we do it works. Sure, it takes a bit of discipline. It takes a bit of structure. It's not fucking blind gambling. You're not going to get rich overnight. But what we do works. Like, come and do it with us.
But it's not real gambling because we use bonus bets.
Yeah,
That's
that
not
was
real
today.
punting.
Like, after I made the comment of, oh, Simmo, where's your public results? And he wrote, oh, they're in the members section. And then the next comment was, so they're not public. And then he deleted it. And someone, like 3-4 people messaged me on Instagram saying, oh, bro, he deleted your comment. And I'm not trying to expose, but I'm trying to just point it out. And then he'll do a story, oh, your way is not legitimate because you're using promotions or bonuses. And mate, we're making fucking money. You are not.
And also, like,
That's
I've seen him post multis with bonus bets on it.
Yeah.
So why is it okay to do it that way, but not the way we do it?
Because he just tries to. Because it's
real.
so easy to con people with. If one person sees one story, and they don't see the other ones that are deleted, you can con 9 out of 10 people who've seen it for the first time.
So
exactly.
what about the people that say, right? We've already kind of touched on this, but like, if we have 400 people following our service now, like, when are the bookies going to shut us down, or when are we going to be a problem for the bookies where it gets to a point where the bookies are like, fuck, we can't give out second and third bonuses anymore?
Well,
Are we anywhere near that?
I don't want to make predictions or make publicity about it, but the reality is we're a very small drop in the ocean still.
Tiny.
400 subscribers, let's say average unit size, we estimated, me and Steve were on a live the other week on Friday night, $20.
Yeah,
average
25.
unit
We
size.
said 25.
Some of our top subscribers, 200 plus. Most new subscribers, $10. So average that out, $20, whatever. 400 subs.
It's $310K a month, we estimated.
Exactly. So that's assuming everyone follows every tip. They're not losing outside of the system, and they're positive. They're net zero according to like sign-ups and turnovers and non-promo and everything else that's required to sustain your accounts.
Just a rough estimate.
So 310K in an industry that takes, I think it is close to 10 billion a year. something like 7 billion a year or something.
Yeah, we
They were at
fact
about
check
like
this.
6.5
So
last
what's-
year, but
yeah.
their turnover's greater this year. So yeah,
So we're looking at like
7 million,
roughly what's
ish.
So it's
7
like
billion. Sorry, should I say.
310.
Oh, within
like
fi-
three
within-
3.5 million.
Within
right?
5 years, they'll be making $1 billion a month.
Who?
The bookies.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're taking like 3.5 million a year, assuming everyone
yeah,
in
that's
that community
nothing.
is following.
Yeah, that's
They're
nothing.
making 10 billion or 7
Yeah,
billion,
that's
let's say.
nothing.
It's fucking least. Like, and also the other thing you need to understand is that's spread across like
Yeah.
40 or 30
That's
bookies.
not just from Sportsbet.
So like everyone's taking pieces of money from
Mm.
everywhere, right? And also like some of the Platinum Squad members who are doing it like in a way that they've actually conned bookies to lose.
Yeah,
And then
it's
goes over
through
to Betfair.
Betfair.
Our most
Yeah.
profitable guy literally milks his bookies every Saturday, and he's literally living off redeposit offers because he's just conning them to fucking do that. So the bookie thinks he's losing, but he's actually profiting because it's going over to Betfair where you can withdraw and it's not a bookie. So that's like, no, we're miles off it because those same promotions are the ones that entice
Correct.
your mug gambler to get on his phone. Like Tab, for
And
example.
that's how they differentiate themselves. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Tab
one
are
at the
literally
moment,
offering you a free
fucking
$50
Palmer.
bonus.
Or a Palmer.
Yeah, the Palmer to go into the venue. And they know if you go to there for a fucking Palmer, yeah. Like, you go there for a Palmer or a Palmy if you want to be fucking...
Palmy.
Palmy
Yeah,
from all
most our
the
subs
all the
think it's a
people in
Palmy.
Queensland or whatever, they
Yeah.
think it's a Palmy. It's a Palmer. But, but they know if you go to the Tab and eat
Yeah, if you
fucking...
sit there, wait for your
You're
Palmer,
going to
you're
bet
gonna
on
be
the
there for
harness
40
or the...
minutes. Yeah,
what is that
correct.
thing called? The fake shit?
Oh,
Trackside.
Trackside. I was sitting there with my
Wait
missus
till they bring in bonus bets.
and
for
I'd
Trackside.
never seen it before properly. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this can't be legit. And people are legitimately
Yeah,
betting
If
on
that's not the most rigged thing in the world, I can't imagine.
I was
what would
picking
be.
winners while I was eating dinner. Like, I wasn't betting. But I was like,
shut
wait,
up.
I'm like, wait, look at this one. It's a
New
win.
system.
Nah, but in all seriousness, like, you'd have to be quite like, yeah, like they're doing all this, like, Tab, go back to their offer, they're doing 1 and 2. And if you place a bet, I don't even want to encourage, I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't want people to go and bet on it. But all those promotions are used to suck
Yeah,
people
they're just
in.
there so that you bet
So
more.
if you use them
Yeah.
too, you're just going to be like another punter.
I think
Correct.
this sort of really sort of like encapsulates sort of basically this whole podcast that we've talked about. Like,
Yeah.
these promos are all there. They're all there to suck you in, to get you. So with the ones, some of them will literally just give you a $20 bonus bet, right? They'll just give it to you for absolutely nothing. You don't even need to deposit anything into it. They'll just put in a $20 bonus bet.
Bet365.
And what they're doing there is they're trying to toy with your emotions right there. They're trying to get you to feel the thrill of almost winning or actually winning or just getting that burning desire back again so that then you deposit, then you keep
a free
going
crack,
again.
mate.
It's a free crack. And then you might almost win and then you go, oh, well, I'll just put in $100 then. Like, they're just completely toying with you.
Yeah.
With right there. But, fuck, where was I?
Well, the way I see it is, and the way a lot of our subscribers like what we do now, and like, for example, the Johnny Drogan guy who used to lose heaps, lost 9K in a day once, and now he's excited to make $20 off one race. It's like a fuck you to the bookies because like they've taken your money forever, and now it's like, fuck you, I'm going to take 30, I'm going to take 50, I'm going to take 100 off you for the first month, then I'm going to take 500 the next month. And then you start taking thousands off them, and it's like, fuck you. You ruined my life for 5 years, or you took thousands off
thousands
me.
of bucks.
Now I'm going to fuck you back. And that's why we get so passionate, because we know we're doing that to the bookies. And yes, we're never going to dent them and bring them down, because we don't really want to, because obviously we're not going to be able to do what we teach them. We're not going to make money for people if they take it away. But yeah.
Still though, if it got to a point
it's a
where we
mile
had
off.
fucking 2,000 subscribers and they're like, fuck, this is a problem.
Well, that's a win.
That's a great result for
That's a
us.
great
And even
result,
if it
yeah.
ruins our company and we can never do anything again,
That's
who
still a
cares?
great
We've
result.
literally changed the industry, and that's...
That's a full risk. I mean, you look at sort of where the promos were compared to 12 months ago, compared to where they are now. Like right now, spring, it's a bit of an outlier of a period.
Exactly.
But particularly over winter, there was definitely less promos this year than there were last year.
Yeah.
And this sort of highlights why now is such an amazing period, why spring is Christmas.
Yeah, you got to cash in.
etc.
But I also think as well, like with that promos thing, we've obviously altered and changed the way that we tip significantly, because we are aware that like the only thing stopping all of our subscribers from making money is if they lose their accounts. So we're running it a lot more conservatively, in a sense that, all right, we're only going to bet into races where we know there's enough coverage, where we can accommodate for all of our subscribers, because the longer that they stay with us, the more money they're going to make. And the only thing that stops them if they follow the instructions is if they lose their accounts. And
And that's why we can't make this service anymore from when we had 100 subscribers. Like other services might be able to tip you to a race where there's 2 promotions. And it's like, we can't do that because we have 400 people. And it's like, now we have to, obviously you're mainly in charge of the data and essentially we said this on the last podcast, we have to weigh up everything, including profit, as well as sustaining our customers' accounts. And not even that, but like linking them essentially to small bookies.
I mean, and we're
stuff
always
like
getting
that.
feedback from the community if people are getting their accounts banned. And generally speaking, not many people are leaving. Very rarely people are leaving due to bans.
Literally, I reckon there would have been 3 in the last 2-3 years from leaving and not being able to follow. And that's probably because they didn't follow the instructions, or recently we kind of have updated the videos on the welcome to be more in depth now, and obviously made it more clear. So,
and in contrast to that, how many people do you hear, rookies online, your mates, that just get their Sportsbet account banned for abusing, they don't even realise they're abusing it. They don't even know they could get their accounts banned. They get them banned.
I've been in other Discords and left, right and centre, people just copping bans and messaging me, hey man, like, is it too late to get involved? I've lost 6 accounts. I tried to do it on my own. I came from like Bonus Bank or something like that. And the reality is, like, unfortunately, those services just teach you how to make money, and anyone can teach you. I can teach you, go through our Hussla free course, teach you how to make money for free. Yeah. I'm not charging you for that because, like, Tom does the DMs and someone might be suggesting to buy Platinum and he's like, oh, but you can do it yourself. And Tom will tell them, you can go make 5K on your own with the signups. And like, what's stopping the person? 3K, let's say, 3 or 4K. And it's like, we tell them that you can, and it's there to be done, but if you don't want your accounts to be closed,
for some people that's fine, right? That's the end of their journey. We understand that, but for the people that are like, fucking hell, this has opened my eyes to what's possible, then it's like, well, don't do this yet, because you can be doing X,
I can actually speak personally. I remember I got told by someone we used to work with at the AO, who was like, mate, you can just go and make $1,000 straight away. This is before I just got into it. It was literally the summer before I just got into match betting, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna burn these accounts. Just make
fuck it.
Just fuck. Like I'm not actually like whatever. Like I'm not a massive gambler. I got my Sportsbet account. Like, I'm just gonna burn them. Yeah. But then I was like, now that I didn't do
money
that,
that I don't have.
You regret you did that now for some of them.
If I'd have done that, there's no way I'd be sitting here right now. Absolutely no chance at all. Yeah.
And anyone doing marketing for their service, doing that as their primary source of marketing, or like doing, I don't know, a PointsBet promotion to make $30 and tell every Tom, Dick and Harry to do it. Yeah. Like, if that's your marketing, then you need to address your sustainability and defense. But I have a question for Tom that's been from a subscriber. I'll read it out. I'll get the DM up. Hang on a sec. So this guy had a question. His name was Shep. He said, he's a new sub. He goes, any advice to those who are starting out with the system and beginning to see profit, but still hear the gambling monster in their ear saying, just find an easy 2-to-1 turnover for a little account boost? Like, what do you say to those people?
As in, like, they want to just place
so like they've made
their profits on a 2-to-1.
They might have made $200 in their first couple of weeks, $1,000 for their first month, or $500 for the first month, and then they're like, oh fuck, I've made $500. Like, imagine if I double it. Like, there's an easy,
it's a little safer.
Yeah.
Well, the easiest way, and I've had some DMs like this, the easiest way that I try to get it across to them and anyone listening is that that's what you would have done before you came to the system, right? That's exactly what you would have thought. That's exactly what you would have tried to do when you made $100, $200, $500 when you won. Instantly, that's not my money. How can I make more? And we don't do that at the system. We don't tell you to do certain things or to follow certain rules or to bet in a certain way because we like the sound of our own voice. We tell you that because we know it works. So what we say to these people is, I would say to him, because mate, what happens if that loses? There's no such thing as an easy double up. There's not an easy, you can't just double your money. And also, you've worked fucking hard for that $500. We haven't just hit 3 winners on Saturday. You've made $500. You've been turning bonus bets over. You've been following properly. You've been sticking to your unit size. You've done a lot of hard work to make that first $500. And the fact that you still even think about potentially throwing it away at the chance of doubling it, it's not worth it. And if you keep doing that, we always stress so heavily after, especially after winning days, guys, turn your bonuses over because they are free money. And whether or not we've made 10 units profit, 50 units profit, no profit, or we've lost 5 units for the week, that bonus bet is still worth the exact same amount of money if you do the right thing with it. So, yeah, I understand where they're coming from. We've all been in that position. We've got free money. Holy fuck, I didn't lose this week. I've actually got $500. Let's turn it into $1,000. But, we want you to be here in 3, 6, 12 months' time. And if you're going to do that every single time we have a profitable day, your results will not mirror ours, and you'll be significantly worse off in the long run. So, yeah, that's a great question and something that a lot of new subscribers grapple with. And after, we follow up with all of them after their first week. And so many of them, I'd say at least 10, 15% of them say, fuck mate, we had a great day, but I'm not gonna lie, I gambled all of my bonus bets, and
I mean, they're way less frequent. I reckon 6 months ago, we probably get 3 of those a weekend.
They're
now
less
we're probably
frequent,
getting 1.
but it still happens, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, we understand that's going to happen. We understand where you're coming from, but we know that if you do this for 3, 6, 12 months time, you're going to have, 100, 200, 300 units profit in your pocket. But that only happens if you do things correctly.
Yeah.
And that's why all the videos are there. That's why we offer basically 24/7, support. If you send us a message, we get back to you with a voice message. That's the difference. So obviously we would have sent a nice voice message to him, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah, and I'll follow up actually Mez, who has been a resub who has admitted to losing a lot of money when he was away from the system. And he followed up after Saturday. I want to tie this into the Wednesday results from 2 weeks ago, and then the Moonee Valley and the Saturday where we kind of went that little ranging period, and then since then, we'll talk about that in a sec. But he was one of the new subs who just subbed, and he was essentially like...
Returning sub?
Yeah. Sorry, returning sub. Yeah. But he just came in again, and he was in the chat saying, "Oh, that's it. I'm unlucky. This is why we're losing like that day, whatever." And then after the period of results, which have just happened on the weekend, essentially we went 30 units in the last week. And he's come back and said, "Hey mate, just want to show my appreciation to you blokes completely. Have changed my way of punting. Even though I've only been with you for like 2 to 3 weeks, my mindset has taken a massive switch. Like, I just laugh at myself now when I get a temptation to throw money on a favourite horse dog. That's free money. I'm still learning, as I won't lie, I still have put 2 bonuses on a horse in WA instead of converting it. Yeah. Luckily, they have won, but I still get mad at myself for not converting. But yeah, I guess that's part of the learning process. But I am fully committed for the long term here, and my mindset will eventually take a full turn. Cheers, lads." So that's a 3-month sub. He's re-subbed for 3 months. And I guess... it takes time. Like, you're not going to go flick like Johnny Drogan and completely change it. It literally takes time. It's a grind. Like, you want to progress. But it's so fucking rewarding when you delete that. Like, you can see how fucking nice it is reading that. Yeah.
And so for some people, I touched on it before, and it's like the difference between emotions and sort of behaviour. Yeah. And a lot of people are not even aware that their emotions are controlling their behavior, right? Yeah. So when you come in and have this change of mindset, that's identifying what your emotions are doing and identifying how it is impacting your behavior, but then still changing that behavior still isn't easy, and that does take time. Here's a perfect example. Yeah. He has changed his behavior. He hasn't got to where he wants to be. Not like Johnny Jogan. He's literally gone from 100 to 0 basically with his change. But at least now Mez here has been able to see, all right, the way that I was doing things, that was an emotional reaction, and that was impacting my behaviors to the point where it was, hurting my triple bottom line, losing, essentially. So, that's something that we really do harp on. Mindset, emotions, all related, and understanding that, if you take a loss, don't let it impact your next bet. And that's what we offer here at the system, is a really sort of... that's what structure is. When we're talking about structure, if you want to put an umbrella term on it, that is what structure, because structure means that you cannot go outside of the boundaries no matter what happens. And this happened in the vlog that we did. We did a vlog, filmed like 4 or 5 months ago, and we actually had a shocking day. I think we had -8 or something.
Yeah, -8. It was in June,
And there was at the start of the video, we were riding a winner. It was an $8 winner, and we were getting a little bit excited and carrying on, whatever.
Just for the record, we didn't even bet on any of those horses.
No, yeah. So that wasn't even, we're not betting. We're purely invested for the subscribers' sake. None of us really bet anymore at all. We're just purely invested, putting all that eggs into, making money for the subs. But anyway, on the vlog, so by the end of the day, we had -8, and you could definitely see, compared to when we hit the $8 winner to the end of the day, we were a little bit flat. We were disappointed. We weren't disappointed for ourselves. We were disappointed for, all of the subs, of course. And a lot of the comments that we got on that video was, "Oh, these look like a bunch of guys who are betting with emotion,
punt and losing punts."
They're telling us to not.
But I actually wanted that to be. I confess, I wanted that to be a losing day, and you guys are probably looking at me like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
You always want weird shit, mate.
No, but it shows people that, like, firstly, we're transparent. Like, who the fuck would post an -8 day? I reckon that would be in the top 10 worst days ever. Yeah. And we posted our only ever vlog about it. It's like almost like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you trying to get subscribers, or are you trying to tell people that you lose? And it's like, secondly, it actually shows, because I knew from that point in time, go and check the results from June 11 and go see our results, and you'll pretty much laugh. I think we've had 3 negative weeks since, and it's been about
we had it was like
17 weeks.
Units, 80 consecutive units after that day, I think, without a losing day.
Yes, 17 weeks, I think. We've gone 14 positive and 3 negative. And going back to more recently, this kind of happened not as badly as that, but it kind of was similar because of the way it panned out on Wednesday. I think it was the
Grand final.
23rd.
It was grand final.
Yeah.
So 21st, I think that is 21st of September. We went 0 out of 6. Was it Sandown or was it combined across a couple of venues? Anyway, we went 0 out of 6 for the day. We went minus 4.05 units. And I've never seen the chat so bad for a while. And we only went minus 4. There were 23 days that have been worse than that in the history of the 203 days that we've ever tipped. And it was like fucking someone died. And because we didn't hit a winner for the day.
Yeah.
And that mindset of having to get reward then, as opposed to understanding that this is a long-term system that essentially never ends, infinite end. Like, we had to explain to the subscribers that you don't need to get that winner. Like, it's literally just a numbers game. We're minus 4.
In the wash. It was just a small wash.
We're fucking plus 15 at that point for the month. We ended up plus 20. We ended up plus 35 for the month.
Yeah.
But just look at, like, for some reason, they start their day at 0. You're plus 20 for the month.
Yeah, they all forget the 200, 300 units
or you're
they've got in
plus
their back
200
pocket.
for the year, or you're plus 700, 670
Yeah,
for
or
the
20
fucking...
for the month even. Like,
Literally. So then Friday night went along, another 6 races, or 8 races, or 6 races, 0 again, break even.
Yeah.
Saturday,
Break
another 9 races, break even. So we're sitting at minus 4.
How
but
many people have stopped following at this point?
I don't know. This is the thing. But then Sunday happened, and Steve took control of the ship, saved the company. And he sent home 4 out of 5 winners at Sandown. And we went plus 13, and the chat was like someone has just fucking won the lottery.
But that's like, and we use that as the perfect example with all the weekly follow-ups. It's like, this is where you remove emotion, because so many punters would have been like, even subscribers, I have no doubt, would have got to Sunday morning and been like, nah, we're on a cold streak. You know, it's just not our weekend. We'll cop the loss and, I'll come back on Wednesday, or I'll wait till they start backing a few winners before I follow again. And that's, emotion. That's thinking you have control of the situation.
Yeah.
That's you, going outside of the structure. As you said, that you're going outside of the lines there. You're breaking the rules, right? And you can do whatever you want, but if you follow the instructions, you follow the rules. And again, on a Saturday, we usually tip into anywhere from 10 to 20 races, right? We only tipped into like 25 races across the whole weekend, but it was just spread across 4 days.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so it was very hard for them, because if we're minus 4 after the first 3 races on a Saturday, not many people will jump off, right? Because fuck, we've got
Heaps
18
more.
races left, guys. And if they took that attitude on Wednesday and go, we've still got 18 races left this week, nobody's jumping off. But it's because the end of the day, right? We didn't get a winner today. We didn't get a winner for 3 days, whatever. We didn't get any profit for 3 days. Fuck, you're on a cold streak. Then you don't follow Sunday. You miss out on 13 units. You miss out on going plus 10 for the week. And the only thing that cooked you was your own emotion. Like, you just couldn't remove emotion from that situation.
So I actually thought about this. We talked about this on last week's podcast, and I said one thing, but I'm actually going to change what I said. And I've been thinking about it during the week. I see this as sort of a positive thing, right? So obviously this stems from people having too high of expectations. They expect to, we had a period in July, or it was July when we had our biggest month.
Plus 58.
We had plus 58 units, and we went 3 weekends in a row where we went plus 15, plus 15, plus 15. And classic JP's like, we need to have a fucking losing day.
Literally, I want people to lose to wake up, because the more they lose, then they start progressing more that way.
Yeah, but obviously, we don't actually want anyone to lose. Maybe
it's inevitable.
But but what JP meant by that was like, we need people to understand that these days, whilst they are great, and we love fill-ups, 15-unit days, you bloody beauty, they're not going to happen every single day, and they're just as likely as happening as a day where we go -6 or -5 or something. So take that into account. That's fine. So, understand those expectations. However, what I wanted to add to that was, I see it as a positive that people are getting frustrated when we have these days of break even, -1, -2, because unlike the rest of Australia, if you break even on a day, you're pretty happy with that, right? Because once again, touching on what we've already talked about, you're expecting to lose. That's the losing culture. We've actually changed that whole culture within our community. Yeah. Our community has expectations of winning.
Yeah, that's
99.9% of Australia has expectations of losing within the punt, or like on the punt. They expect to lose, and when they lose, they're not even that disappointed, because what did they expect? They already knew they were going to lose. We now get to the point where if we go a -4 day, people are like fucking angry, because we've completely changed that expectation.
Yeah.
We've now built something where people expect to win, which in that sense, I see it as a positive.
Yeah, I've never thought of it like that, but it kind of ties into what I want people to do. I want them to constantly progress along that spectrum. And fast forward to Wednesday last week, after we've just gone plus 13 on Sunday, we go plus 4.6 on Wednesday, we go plus 12 on Saturday. We've gone plus 30 on Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday.
It's mental.
And if you jumped off at -4, -4 is not even. It's fucking 4% of your bankroll, 8% if you're really aggressive, bro. You just missed 30 units. Like you've lost
because you couldn't keep it.
Just fucking follow it, and we'll guarantee you'll win. And I did this massive like inspirational attempt speech. Tom reckons people would have ran through walls after it on Saturday. I was pumped. Like we just gone +12. We've gone +29.8 for the last 6 days. And I said, look guys, like fucking well done for like sticking around. Welcome to spring. Let's fucking load. Let's lock and load.
Lock and load, he reckons.
And Tom's messaged me pissing himself. And he goes, mate, they're all going to go run through walls. And I was
that's like when people say like you guys, you know, you say not to be emotional. We're still like passionate. Like,
nah, fuck.
we want to
win.
fucking make people money.
Fuck
and the best, fuck the bookies. And the best thing is though, like and I sort of understand where JB is coming from. When we have like really nice periods after a losing period, it's as you said, it's like fucking well done, because 6 months ago when you weren't following us, you would have fucking just kept donating. You would have kept punting. You would have been in such a worse position. The fact that you've got through that little rut. Yeah. And now you got 30 units profit to like enjoy it.
It's
like,
not even, it wasn't even
appreciate the good times.
Yeah. And it was also like I think it was 7 weeks ago we went -10, fourth worst day ever. Like you were depressed. We had to refund 24 people during that 30-day period. There's a 3-day out overlay where people were refunded, and people were wondering like why we didn't refund all 400. It was because only the subscription period for those subs went through there. 16 out of 24 are still around. They've gone plus fucking 60 or
plus
something
61,
since then.
Plus 61.4.
Like, it's just like, who remembers that?
No
one. And on that day, there would have been subscribers who unsubbed or got angry and stuff. And it's like, we didn't care, like, because we know it's going to turn around. But you just need to just zoom out and just look at this whole period. Like, I would say look at it in 3-month blocks.
Yeah.
Don't look at it in months. Don't even look at it in, like, weeks or months. Look at it 3 months and say, I'm following this for 3 months and I'm not breaking the rules for 3 months. And if I don't make profit during that period, which we know you're going to make profit, we've got a 30-unit guarantee on a 3-monthly new sub. Yeah. Like, then I can assess. Don't look at it in a day. Don't look at it in a week. Don't look at it in a month. Just 3 months. And then fucking just thank us later. You don't even have to thank us. Just count your pockets, use your money wisely, and fuck the book.
So to wrap us up, obviously we're in spring. We're in the peak of spring. We've had an absolute fill up the last week. Do you want to just quickly touch on results, Steve, over, the last maybe... When was the last time we did a podcast? Maybe the results of the last couple of months, and then we'll probably wrap it up.
Probably like July-ish. We had our worst month ever, followed by our best month ever. In the middle of that month, I think.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, you've sort of touched on it a bit. Obviously, this losing week that we had, or this losing period was, I think 7 weeks ago, where we had a negative 10 unit week or something like that. And then, since then, we've gone plus 61 units over the last 6 weeks. So that's, 10 units profit a week on average, and that's at 65% turnover. Obviously, some people are getting higher than that. And if you look at it from a simple monetary value, that's $600 for people on a $10 unit size, or $50 unit size. That's $3,000 over the last 6 weeks, and these are real numbers. These are very achievable numbers. A $50 unit size is very achievable. So it is really nice to see. I've got one of my mates is following. He messaged me before Saturday, and he's messaged me, and he's on a $50 unit size, and he's like 1,700 in September
Who's
already.
this?
His name's Mool.
Mool?
Yeah, Mool.
It's fucking Mool.
That's what I call him.
Oh, sick. So is he platinum?
No, he's not platinum. No,
he just fucking shouldn't be following the rules on a $50 unit size.
Fucking Mool.
I've told him. I've told him.
I've
told him. I'm like, mate, jump in. But
fair enough. Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, so he's obviously enjoying it. These are real numbers. These are very achievable. But like this isn't anything that we didn't we expected this. After we had that losing day off, 35 units in September. That's just above average. So it's not like we're seeing beach balls at the moment.
No.
We're obviously doing well. But we've had another nice day on Saturday as well. October's got off to a really good start. But we fully expected this with spring. The beauty of spring, the more promos in spring allows us to be more flexible in the way that we tip. It allows us to be more selective in the way that we tip. It doesn't mean that we've been tipping, brashly in the past, but it means that we can be a lot more selective now and really, focus in on where the higher EV is, as opposed to in winter when there's less promos, but we still want to be churning over a profit. Once again, it doesn't mean that we're tipping things we shouldn't in winter, but we're just a lot more selective now, purely because it means we can tip into more races. There's more variety. There's more units being outlaid across a larger number of days, greater flexibility, ultimately more profit. As well as that, you've also got followers who are following, and they're getting bonus back to 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th, any race, any position sometimes. And so most people, I would probably estimate, are getting an extra probably 2 or 3 units worth of bonus, I reckon, every single Saturday. And that's already that's an extra 2.1 units if they're getting 3 units bonus roughly. That definitely adds up. So it is a really nice time to be involved. 100%. It is Christmas, and it's only going to be heating up as we continue to go on. September started well, and I would say, is it really sort of Melbourne Cup is the last sort of day of spring?
We were speaking about this last week. It really just rolls through. It's going to be...
There's no sport, so they have to keep it.
They just roll through. Obviously, we're going to have Vic Carnival, but then there's going to be WA Carnival, there's Queensland Carnival. First couple of Magic Millions is the first couple of weeks of January. It kind of really doesn't stop, and then it gets into winter when it peters out a little bit. But even autumn, March, April, we're still going to have Group 1 racing. Yeah. The next 6-7 months is really a massive part of the racing calendar, and then obviously it's going to die off a little bit during winter. It's still, I'm just looking at last year's results. In winter, 7.5, 29.3, 25. So we've still picked up another 55 units during winter.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. There's still profit on the table. It's just obviously a little bit different, as you said, us being able to be more selective or being more aggressive where we want to, where there's more EV, and knowing that our subscribers have more edge in the market.
Yep.
We're in a great position. It's fucking sick to have I think last spring we had 190 subscribers, I think, maybe around about that following.
Yeah.
The fact we've got 400 now is awesome, and I can't wait to see
I
what
think the
happens over the next
400
few
as
months.
well has become better subs. Just to say, we've probably got 300 really good subs now, as opposed to just having people who fly in and out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, people buying weeklies here and there. We say this correlation between the people who eat for long term versus not on a weekly is pretty high. They're not watching the videos. But yeah, if you are a subscriber, you've never had a better chance, or potential sub, never had a better opportunity to get the best content. We've just updated 5 new videos on the member section.
Brand new
So
website.
if you do subscribe, please listen and watch every single second of every single video before you even think about putting a bet on. Because we've worked our asses off. It took me 3 months to make the first one, 2 months to make the third one. And these boys were rinsing me for a long time.
Yeah, a couple of weeks away.
I literally was
Maxi
saying a couple of
rinse
weeks for literally
Shout out
3
to
months.
Maxi.
Yeah,
Maxi.
so do the fucking work and you'll get paid later because, as I said, build the foundation properly on your house. Don't build the house without the foundation because it'll fall down. So I think we'll leave it there. If you want to, got a discount code.
Yeah, I've got one. Obviously, we're doing, this is the podcast replay this week. So
I know I had a better one, but I don't know if we want to do it.
Nah, don't do yours because yours will be stupid. So we'll do replay 10 for this one.
10, I'm happy with that.
For the end of the podcast.
I had a better one which would get more subs.
All right, what is it?
Do you want to do it?
Yeah, do it.
Simmo 10.
Nah, that's stupidity.
That is stupidity.
I hope this stays in the podcast. You're a fuckwit, and we'll see you next time.
Shout out to the couple of lads that I ran into in Richmond the other night as well. The Dirty Swan.
On the train who gave a free month to, you didn't fucking join, so you're missing out. You missed out on 30 units, literally. Where are you? All right, see ya.
See ya.
Cheers, guys. You got a clap or?
Okay, someone clap loud.
You go.
He's done the above their head one. That's right, it still works. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck me.
I don't understand why we do that and then we don't start straight away. I don't understand.
No, you just look at it, it's a big spike on the audio. And then on all the camera audios, the spikes there, and you just sync them all together.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
If this...
It will fuck up again.
Oh.
It fucked up 1 second after we finished recording with Danny.
So what's the problem there?
No,
Oh,
that
that's
was
good.
a heat. That was the camera. I fixed that.
Okay.
Not too
Alright.
hot.
Bro, the dams are flocking. Good. Another one.
Fuck, if that wasn't filming.
Yeah, nice. This one empty. Oh no, we fucked it.
Why?
No, you're fucking kidding.
I promise you.
Oh, that one's actually fucked. Swear on my life, it says no space on memory card.
No.
I swear on my life it does. Like I full on swear on everything that it says that. Oh my god.
Can we do without that? When did it go off?
I don't know.
Why does this shit happen?
How can you see how much got recorded?
I don't know.